a game.
I have like 30 maps for you guys, but I don't anticipate we'll use all of them. Just
This is
part
why
of
I have a
life.
town map
I've
that is
watched-
being
Look at
rampaged
this.
by a giant crab for
I've watched
tonight.
several DM shaming like videos
How do
on
we get out of this?
TikTok where all it
We
is
are
like the
supposedly
players
live.
making fun of the
Yep, we're
DM
live
for
on
not
both.
having maps ready.
Nice.
Woo.
Like,
Sorry,
so
you were
weird.
saying ready?
I'm just saying DM shaming videos where you watch the people like make fun of the DM for not having absolutely everything possible ready.
I don't know why people do that because, I mean, if you're going
It's
to get
just
like
funny.
that, do some DMing of your own and realize it's
Yeah, 'cause
hard,
it's
man.
not they're not really meaning it. They're like, you don't
We're
have
yes
a random
anding.
hallway ready?
Yes. Yes. I've discovered yes anding in this game, though, is unhinged.
I'm big on yes ending. It's fine. Okay, let's just let everybody kind of filter in for a sec to the stream, and then I'll kick us off. So we have I don't know how many people are there right now. If you can zigzag.
I can see a couple on Twitch. YouTube doesn't show me on the restream.
Damn you, YouTube!
Yeah.
I will look.
The YouTubes.
The U-est of tubes.
Hopefully Hell is on one or both of those, and she can tell me if any of the levels seem off or anything weird's going on.
I'm gonna go listen to it right now because I'm not streaming, so I get to do it now.
I mean,
Aha!
honestly, I can actually watch the stream on YouTube now. So
You
that's
can.
nice.
Don't do
Oh,
that.
what?
He's
Oh.
not
Well,
gonna
you-
see
we
anything
can't
that
see
we
your
can't
screen.
already see.
Yeah.
Oh, true, because it's X.
The
isn't it?
U-est of tubes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sounds good to me.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm gonna close that now because it's gonna drive me absolutely insane if I
gonna
listen to
say.
that anymore.
My mic's gonna pick up the feedback from that.
Yeah. Sorry,
Going
buddy.
down under the table.
I just realized that Iris's icon goes from closed eyes with a smile to when she talks, her eyes open with her mouth.
Is it creepy? Do you like
It's a
it?
little creepy. That's why I like it. Like, hi everyone. It's like, oh my
Hello.
gosh.
See, I love that Emmy looks just perpetually terrified of everything. She's like that person who went on the pub crawl and she's like, how did I end up here? I don't know what's going on. I need a responsible adult. And then she looks around. There are none to be found.
Oh, a couple of things too while we are like right before we start the game today. One, I want to Emmy for knocking the big bad guy unconscious. I'm going and using a really interesting way of doing that. I'm giving you inspiration. So
Oh,
that
thank
means
you.
you can reroll a d20 if you would like to. And Beryl for having to exist through absolute chaos and handling that with aplomb. I'm going to give you inspiration as
I
well.
appreciate it. I'm gonna pretend it was
Two of you.
for preemptively killing Mushroom Hitler.
I think it's because you had to
My
exist
evil
as a Petunia.
deeds. Having the new nickname Petunia is worth it too.
You experienced peace for the first time in your life as a potted plant, and you've known
I'm not even aware.
peace
of
that you've never known.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump in. Hi everyone. Welcome to Punch and Roll for Initiative. I am Ethan Gray. I am a voice actor and a narrator. I am currently in the middle of several projects, but mostly audio dramas that are for audio mazes. You can hear me in a few upcoming of those. So I'm very excited about those. And I'm going to go in a weird line because we're missing somebody today. Today we will not have Aaron Smith. Our resident armor smith, 6'7" hunk of a man, is at a board game convention. So he left us for other nerdy reasons, and I am very disappointed in him. But we're gonna go. What?
It's the only reasonable reason not to be here.
Right. I mean, if he's not gonna be here, and just spreading his deep, someone needs to do the Aaron Smith voice before we someone needs to be like, "Hi."
I was
Hi.
about to say, who's gonna do it?
I
Hi,
can't do the growl.
Aaron Smith, narrator.
I'm red.
Redvold. Anyway, I can't do it. Cleo, we're gonna go to you next.
Hello. I am Cleo Birch, voice actor and narrator. Currently working on Whisper of Apple Blossoms, which should be out sometime this spring. Also doing audio dramas with Tara Sanders Media and the Perceptions universe. And I play Iris McGugan. Are we wanting to do fun facts again? This
I think
week?
so.
Are
I think
people up for it?
they're a blast if y'all are down.
Yeah, yeah. Fun fact about Iris is that the first time she met her husband, Henry, when they were quite young, she threatened to throw him off of an airship. And that's a little fun fact. And then since, I'm going to popcorn it. Or do we want to go in a specific order? Or can I just...
No, we
pick
can just,
someone?
next let's go to, I'm
Okay.
sorry, I had to get up to lock my
No,
door.
it's good.
Next let's go, y'all can see me now, so I'm sorry. Next let's go to Marie. You watch my butt walk away from the screen, I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Marie Mitchell. I'm a narrator of things and voiceover of other things, and I play Kaida, who is just, the big sibling to everybody who didn't know that they needed one. And Kaida has the uncanny ability to tell when someone hasn't eaten enough. She will just casually slide an extra roll onto their plate or hand them a snack mid-conversation without even thinking about it. It's her sixth sense, and she will give you a look if you try to refuse.
God, I love that. Rhodey.
I'm Rhodey. I am playing Raz, and God, I'm afraid to give any fun facts about Raz anymore because the last time everybody went on a rampage.
Everyone
about how
accused you of
terrible
being
my
a
character is.
racist.
Yeah. But I guess the one thing is that you won't ever be able to physically see, but something fun little thing is he wears a necklace with a small feather on it that might become important or at least have relevance later. But yeah, that's the fun little thing.
All right, Tegan.
Ooh. My name is Tegan Burke. I am the resident Australian / voice actor that everybody else here. I am currently working on Beyond Tomorrow by Tammy Weiss and also Tyrus Anders Media Productions. I play Amania Emmy Demira, possibly the youngest of the group, I believe. And because of that, her fun fact is she has to take vitamins every day. If not, she suffers very interesting consequences.
Oh.
And Zach.
I'm Zach Rosenfeld. I arrived home about an hour ago from a 2+ hour round trip dropping my toddler off with her grandparents, and one of the first things that I saw when I got home was an email that The Prince of Paradise is now live on Audible. That's the sequel to my very first audiobook, The Tyrant's Daughter, both by I.D. Marie. First one was just under 18 hours. This one's 22 and a half. So if you've got a whole lot of time to kill, check those out.
God, I was complaining about a 10-hour book last week.
Oh, yeah. Fun. I'm going to take some liberties with the word fun here. A little fact about Battle Steelhammer. He was born and raised by armor smiths during the Spiral War. And when he was finally old enough to craft his very first piece of armor just by himself, no help from his parents, the very first piece of armor that he crafted and sent off with a soldier to war had a defect in it, and that soldier did not return.
Oops.
Oh.
Big oof.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, we're going to jump back in. I'm going to remind everyone where we were, what we did. Our group have been working together as part of the Welldiver trials. They have completed 2 previous trials in large groups, or 3 previous trials, 2 of which were in large groups, and the last one was in a team. And so they have been a team now for 2 separate trials. These are kind of pre-game. Maybe we'll do a prequel someday. But the Welldiver group that we have has formed a group and decided to go into the well for any number of reasons. The Welldivers have basically a passport that allows them into any country. They are allowed to travel. It is a good option for earning money. It is a great way of... Can we not hear Zach? Hang on one second. Can we not hear Zach on his...
They said I'm a little quiet on the stream. I'm adjusting things over there.
Okay.
Does that sound any better, folks?
I say not listening at all to YouTube.
Yeah, sounds great. No, I can't tell. Somebody tell him. The Welldivers are this kind of illustrious industrious but also very pragmatic group that started off as a batch of heroes imbued with the power of these gods who no longer have their own powers, who fought to the spiral wars were as short as they could be, although they lasted almost 100 years, of these wells cracking open across the world, a planar injunction in between these two planes that are fighting against each other. And over time, they've been able to subdue the world below, as it's known. And now there are only a few wells around the world. Sometimes they spring up in different places and need to be addressed, and that is one of the reasons that well divers have access to free travel and a lot of other things. So our group decided to do that. They went into the well as their final trial. This is the first time the well divers have ever allowed initiates into the well to learn how to fight within the well itself. In doing so, they discovered a lot of strange things, including these fey cockatrices with gems in their heads, a scepter that subjugated those gems, a bunch of mushrooms trying to carry them off to a different level that had been punctured into the bottom of the floor, some now recently deceased Goliaths, which had chest burster mushrooms coming out of them, a man wrapped in bandages that, at the command of Bast, Redvald cut the throat of, and then you guys left him in a pile of mushroom ooze to burn away. And at that, you began to leave, and as you left, you saw a way out that had a small, like metallic-looking piton in the middle of it, that seemed to have two different directions it could go through. And when you peered through one of them, you saw a mushroom village. Ascending out of the well, you then came to see Bast and others are trying to kind of move around quickly. And as you were ascending out of the well, the cold of the dark well leaves your body as you ascend into sunlight. But something you all notice pretty quickly is that it doesn't appear to be the same time of day. It appears to be earlier in the day. It looks like it's actually somewhere near morning, maybe mid-morning. The sun is lower than it was, but it's not setting. It's a little disorienting. And as you come up, Leonin yells out to Redvald, and Redvald follows him to go and speak to him somewhere else. In this very sunny courtyard, there's a lot of people moving around and working. Bast has informed you guys he would like you to go to his pub, but you see a lot of people moving around and doing things, and you do not see Bast anywhere. So what would you like to do as you ascend out of the well?
Well, and Iris will kind of look around. Part of her was expecting a bit of fanfare after they successfully came up, but she kind of looks around to see if there's any celebratory things happening, or if it's very much just another day at the well divers. We're not special.
So roll a perception check.
Alrighty. Oh, I have to open my character sheet. Oop, well done.
Or insight. Either way. I'll give you
All
different things.
Let's see.
Also, if that music is too loud, you'll tell me.
No, I love it. That probably wasn't to me. Insight. 16.
Okay. With a 16, the thing that you immediately notice is that people seem stressed. There are more people than when you left. It is a different time of day. Somehow it appears to be morning now. It was like late afternoon when you left. There is an entirely different crew of people. There were some people here earlier that you recognize still, Arcanist, and there was that one like side alchemical device that was connected to the side of the well that you saw running off. A lot of people were messing with that whenever you went down. It was generally much more peaceful when you left. But now that you've come up, you see the lore master, you see Leonin, and you hear a lot of like movement in the distance, because this is kind of like there's marble halls and big stoneways that walk around these like it's very octagonally shaped, so there's like all these halls that lead into this big courtyard where the well is. You hear a lot of movement and a lot of shuffling, and a lot of people seem stressed, and some people you might even with a 16 assume are a little more panicked than stressed.
Oh, we might.
But there is definitely not. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. Finish what you're gonna say.
You aren't wrong in that you get the sense that maybe there's like a platform set up that maybe they were going to do like, hey, you graduated, good job, but none of that has happened.
Yeah.
So something is definitely off.
Seems like we've gotten out of the, what is it, out of the frying pan and into the fire, maybe? Or, there's just other things more important in the day. How's everybody feeling? And she'll turn to the group.
Yeah,
Is
is anybody dizzy, injured, feeling weird? And also, not to freak anyone out, but I swear the sun was lower when we went in.
Were we in there all night? Do we think?
Didn't they say that time can work a little differently in the well than out here? Or am I making that up? Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm running the
Iris
stream.
does
Either
look
way,
a little
I-
younger.
Oh,
Either way,
thank
I
you,
don't really
dear.
care. It's the fact that the sun's out and we're not in the dark anymore. So
That is
Emmy
nice.
looks in juxtaposition to everybody else. Emmy actually looks relieved and just like relaxed.
So to us, we spent. I mean, I know we spent 3 sessions down there, but like to the characters, how many hours were we in the well, approximately?
It felt like it was approximately about maybe you took a short rest, so maybe about 2.5, 3 hours down there.
Okay. Iris is just puzzling, like, did she actually age a day, or did she only age a couple of hours? Because she's gonna be pissed if she aged a day within the the what is it? The perceptual experience of a few hours. She's gonna be pissed.
But also, what's our plan here? Are we? I would like to stick together and go to the tavern as planned, unless somebody has a better idea. But food, I want food.
That does sound lovely.
While they're chatting, Raz would have just kind of not gone away, but kind of turned to his own and started assessing all the like items he's collected since coming out of the well. Because now I have 2 new swords, I have 2 new badges, I have these wraps and things. I just want to see if I can assess if there's any kind of special element to any of them. I don't know if I have
Sure.
necessarily the ability to do that, but I want to just see if
I will
if I can
you-
perceive the best out of
if-
anything.
If
Go ahead.
Iris sees Raz like pulling the stuff out, she might kind of like shuffle over and be like, "Dear, you might want to do that. Not in the public courtyard. If we're following what Bast said. Do you have a place more private you can look at your sword?"
He just looks at Iris like, "Why are you telling me what to do?" And
Oh,
then
no, I'm just saying.
he doesn't say
You've got
anything,
some-
but it's just
You've got some contraband there, and from my experience, it's not good to wave it around out in public.
So he looks at the one sword that's wrapped in the acid burn cloth, and he kind of heeds the warning for that one and kind of puts it back, but he still pulls out the other stuff. And he's
That's
just like,
fair.
he's like, I don't see why I have to worry about this. And then Raz will finally talk and take the scimitar that Beryl gave him and ask her, can you tell if there's anything special about this sword?
If you
Are you
can't,
asking?
I can do the same thing I did for the scepter on it and give it a try. But Iris, if you've some way, go for it.
Oh, I think it would fetch you a pretty penny, but beyond that, I have no idea.
I'm only asking.
If you guys
because
would like to
my
roll too,
perception's
you
not
can.
that high, so I was like,
Yeah.
maybe not waste it. But yeah, I can. I'll roll a
Yeah.
perception. Just
So it's not going to be perception. It's going to be either like if you have some sort of artisan check, or if you have Arcana, you can do
again,
either.
all those have no bonuses. So we'll just see what the luck of the roll is. Oh, hey, 19. All
Ah.
right, there we go.
Okay. You're checking on the scimitar, right?
I'm checking on the scimitar. Yeah, the cloud scimitar.
So, excuse me. The cloud scimitar has very ornate etchings into the side of the blade. You watch as you're kind of like moving it through the sunlight, you see like the white etchings along the blade of it seem to almost be moving as if the like wind is carrying the clouds across the end of the blade. You see in the handle is inlaid with this very finely crafted wooden design, a marbled wood that's inlaid into the handle with a front guard, which means the guard goes in front of your hand and behind your hand instead of side to side. And while you're kind of moving it around, you notice that it is both exceptionally light and also has that like moving effect on the blade itself. So there's something, I mean, likely magical about it.
Okay.
One other thing that you notice with a 19 is, well, there's two other things actually. One is that within the hilt of the blade, there is a very small clear gem at the very bottom of the blade that's just like inlaid in the hilt. And you notice that it's odd because the blade is so like masterfully crafted, beautiful to a T. It looks very intentionally designed. The blade is, or the gem in the bottom of it is roughly hewn. It's not in any way sharpened or made to look like a a precious jewel of any kind. It's like just a rough laid gem that's in the bottom of it that's clear. And the other thing that you recognize about this is that it reminds you of the types of weapons that you've seen harpies use in the stories your father would tell you about.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So I liked it until the end. Yeah. So Raz is going to contemplate some things, just kind of looking at it, kind of appreciating it until you said like he realizes this might be a harpy weapon, and then he's going to slowly put it back in whatever he was using, whether it's just in his belt or whatever, and look at Beryl and just go, "Your gift was adequate." And that's kind of his way of thanking him for giving him the sword. But realizing that it's a harpy weapon, possibly he can't be too thankful for it. But we'll see what happens.
Well, it wasn't really a gift, but I mean, if you don't want to keep it, do whatever you want with it. I can't use it.
He's like, it kind of ignores him and just is like, I'm just gonna keep it.
Oh, kids and their manners these days.
Right.
Gosh.
While this is happening, Emmy is fishing through her bag and she pulls out a bottle of vitamins, and she takes one and like dry swallows it because she's clearly used to it at this point. But she's like, "You don't think that we might need to talk about, that last part that happened down there? Because that was weird, right?"
Well,
Iris will look around. "Oh, there wasn't a thing out of place, dear. What do you mean?" And then she'll like gesture over her shoulder, like, "We should leave here before we talk about it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Beryl's just gonna be like, "I
A
don't
wink.
know that there's much to talk about until we get to the pub, eh? Everybody wants to go
To
have a
the
drink at the
pub.
pub, eh?"
As you two are talking about that too, you begin to hear a number of like footsteps moving. Again, it's the way the Welldiver Academy is set up. It's called Last Wall. Is there are these very large 20-foot high walls that effectively have like little inlane points where you can walk in between them. The intent here being that like if something got out of the well, they can shut down this whole area. That's kind of the goal. It's like a big trap walled in space. But as a result, it echoes very loudly when people are moving down these hallways. So you can see coming in a couple of directions, one of which from the northeast, you see what appear to be a group of people in white robes. And as you look up in that direction, there's a large spiral tower that forms out of the side of this campus. That's maybe 6-7 stories tall. It's very tall, but it spirals around in these two very jutting out, kind of like elven looking designs. And for those of you familiar, we've talked about the church already. That is the headquarters of the church in Pilgrimage, the name of the city here. And you can see people who appear to be dressed as clergy walking this way from that direction. You also, from the like like southwestish direction, you see people who are moving this way, who are being led by the lore master in the direction of you guys right now. So if you would like to stay here, you can. I just need to know what you guys plan to do.
Well, do we have to do anything to wrap up the trial? I mean, Bast gave us the badges down there, but is there anything like, are the other people, the other initiates that left the well before us, or like, are any of the other instructors, the lore master, like, are they hanging around like, here, you finished the trial, come get your pins?
It seems like, so Bass told you as you were leaving the well that that he had excuse me, that he had Rin and some of his other compatriots get the other group. I know y'all only see the big map. Getting alerts like, hey, we can only see a big map. I know there's nothing else to see right now. But the as he was telling you to get out, he told you to go straight for the pub, and that that Tarvin was already there, that he had Scarlett moved there, and he'd had the others go to the pub itself. He also mentioned what it looks like. It is a Titan's skull with a door in the front of it, and it is along the main road to the northwest of here. So he has told you what it looks like, where it is, and he said that they already went there, and then he fell through a cat portal into somewhere. And the the lore master was not around when you came out, but you do in fact see him walking toward you now, leading what appears to be a small group of people. And from the opposite direction, you see some members of the clergy walking towards you.
Oh. Does it look like we have time to make a clean escape before they both intersect with us, or is it?
Oh
like,
yeah,
gonna be a
these
bit
hallways are
awkward?
long. Again, like the design here is meant to be like a wall, like trap type situation. Like imagine like a smaller version of Attack on Titan kind of thing. If something gets out, they want to be able to contain it.
And it's obvious that they're moving towards us, like they are like eye contact, right?
So the lore master is roll an insight check or perception. So either one will give you something different. And each of you
That
can
will
make
be
this if
a
you would like to.
15.
I
I'll
do
do
want
a
to roll
perception.
perception check.
Okay.
9.
Is that flat? You don't have any
No,
additional
that's-
bonuses?
It's a
Okay.
10. It's a 10, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I just got a 14.
I'm an
Emmy,
8.
who would you say you're more focused on? And Iris, who would you say you're more focused on?
Iris would be more wary of the clergy, I think.
Okay.
Whereas I'm
Emmy?
looking at the lore master.
Okay. Emmy, with your insight check of a 15, you can see the lore master appears to be, and he's you've seen this man shuffle already once. He's not a fast moving man, but he appears to be booking it as fast as he can, guiding what looks like a group of maybe 4 or 5 people who are walking toward the courtyard, and he is doing a lot of gesturing and ushering. He has a similar body language to the people around this general area who are kind of like looking at all of you, looking around at the things they're doing, and generally looking nervous. So he has that same kind of like nervous energy body language as he's headed toward you, guiding these other people. Iris, you notice the people who are coming toward you from the church direction. There are about 15 or so of them. They're in rows. The lanes they walk down are not very wide, so they can only fit about three to a row, and they're walking in like lockstep. With your perception being high enough, can you roll a knowledge religion to see if you recognize anything else about that?
Of course. Let's see. Not well versed on it. Sorry.
You never know.
Religion? History? Wait.
Religion.
We don't... Is that a stat index?
Religion or
Yes.
history, either way.
Yeah, it's
History,
down by
okay.
like sleight of hand.
Wait a minute.
It's alphabetical order.
Yeah, I
Oh!
also always call it knowledge
Is
because that's
that
how
new?
3.5 did it.
I guess I never use religion.
Okay.
11. Like in any game.
There's a lot of
Is that
religions in this
new?
one.
Okay.
A lot of history and religion in this game. With an 11, what you notice is that there are a lot of different sects of the church, a lot of different orders as they're called. The biggest one that you know of, the main one, is called the Order of Hope, and you know it's not that one. Outside of that, you're not sure. They all have these different crests on the like side of their robe, and the ones moving in your direction are being led by a relatively wispy looking man, but they are not. They're like not moving incredibly fast. They're moving in lockstep. They're not like sprinting toward you or anything, but they are moving in lockstep toward you, and they have a crest that you're not familiar with.
Yeah, I think Iris will turn to the group. She's like, I think if we don't want to answer any questions, we should leave now.
On the other hand, if they're looking right at it, it looks kind of suspicious if we lock eyes with them and then run away.
I will
Dear, once
say,
you
Don't
get to my
lock
age,
eyes.
you don't worry about those type of things. If I offend someone, that's on them.
I will say they're far enough away now that it's kind of up to you whether or not, like, you want to stay. Whether or
Raz
not they
just
see
immediately
you.
goes to the pub and starts to walk away. He doesn't even know exactly where he's going. He's just kind of like, because okay, out of character. Raz realizes there's some hesitation here, so his way of not trying to be nice directly is by saying, "Okay, let's go," but trying to help you with your concerns and to yell that it's to the pub, so that way they don't think that we're
It's
trying to
less
sneak away.
suspicious.
That it seems like we're going to celebrate. And so Raz is intentionally making a bit of a scene, so that way
I'll
those
tell you what, roll a performance check since you're trying to make this scene.
Metaphorically pocket sanded.
All right, let's see.
Ninja dust.
14.
Chicken dust.
Okay. With a 14, Raz, what you notice is that there are enough people around you. This has become a pretty busy space. And so there's maybe 20 or 30 different assistants and arcanists and people kind of moving around. There are people clearly prepping to go into the well, like they're getting equipment and things like that. But you, with your performance, people don't seem to pay you any heed. So that seems to, at least in your mind, kind of insinuate that maybe nobody is that concerned about where you're going.
Nice. Iris will lean over to Belle. She's like, I'm no fucking snitch. Let's go.
Put my arms around Emmy and Iris's shoulders and like, let's go, girls.
As we're walking,
Emmy-
though, Raz is gonna look to where Redvald walked off to, because he owes him a drink, and it's gonna be his way of realizing that he'll have to give him his drink later. So
Aw.
Emmy, well, because Kaida's got her arm around Emmy, she does kind of like reluctantly get pulled along, but normally she's not one to like go against authority, and
Girl,
like,
you lucky
she's
I don't
had
give
no
you a
reason-
noogie.
she's had no reason to think that any of like the heads of the academic academy are bad or anything. So she's like, the Lawmaster's heading towards us. We should at least say something. But yeah, she allows herself to be pulled away.
Okay.
Oh no, she's
as
gonna
you
be
step,
labeled that she's gone with the bad crowd.
as you begin to
Slowly
step that way, you watch as Redvald fades into the distance. Again, he is a towering figure, but he's being, guided out along one of the hallways to the northeast of you by an even larger figure who is a lion-headed man with a bright gold breastplate that has flames along the top of it. And as he's walking him out, you can hear both of their deep voices just like it's just echoing down this very long tunnel. You can just hear the two of them talking.
A single pebble falls from the wall, and it's foreshadowing.
God help me. As you guys emerge out of this general area, this is the most inner part of this campus. And so as you begin to move through this campus, the person who's probably the most familiar with it is Emmy, as she's the one who has spent the most time studying here. The library is in this direction. And so if you continue through past the library, you will emerge onto the streets of Pilgrimage, which is, again, a very large city. You can kind of imagine like a large college town with like a heavy commerce. It's like stepping out of NYU into like, what part of it is in like a part of New York is NYU? And anyway, it's like that, basically. It's been a while since I've been in NYU. But it's like stepping out on the streets of very busy, like college, but also urban sprawl.
It's nice.
I assume
Are we
Bast gave
familiar
us
with-
directions to the pub, or at least the name of it, and we can see who's familiar with where it might be.
Looking for a Titan's head.
I feel like that'd be an easy landmark to know where it's at.
As you're
Type
thinking
what
that
else?
too, and maybe partially because you're not from here, Raz, but stepping out onto the street immediately, you're overwhelmed by the just volume of traffic because you step
Yeah.
out onto a large like sidewalk designated kind of area. This place has like proper roads, and there are carriages, there are like mechanized vehicles, there are strange looking creatures walking along that people are riding. Above you, you begin to see the airships that have been, that are flying overhead. You hear commerce. There's a lot of people around the college that are based around the commerce it creates from the well. So you hear people shouting about new armors and new materials and new potions, and this thing will cure gout. This thing prevents aging. This is a new dragon they found in the world below that you can, turn into whatever. And there's a lot of that kind of stuff. There's exotic meats and exotic foods. There's like little prop up like noodle stands and it's just like commerce everywhere immediately around the well itself. And as you're kind of moving into that, it's really disorienting to even look around for this Titan skull. He did tell you it was northwest of where you were, down the main road. And the main road is very clear. It's very big.
Nice.
Raz gonna try to act like he's cool, because he can't show weakness, and he's going to. It's basically gonna be like fish out of water situation where even though he's trying to be strong and stoic, there's just so much that's hitting him, like sensory wise, that he kind of just is so disoriented. He can't figure out his directions, which would be weird for him. And I think he would be visibly flustered, even though he's trying really hard to hide it.
Aw. I think Iris she's been in pilgrimage for a while, a bit of a while now. Could she make
Yeah.
some kind of navigation, survival, like?
Yeah, survival, or if you want to, the way I typically do directions, I was going to give you guys room if you want to, like, I don't know, kind of buy food or whatever. I want to give you guys a chance to do things before you get to the pub. But yeah, if you want to find your way to this thing, you can either use survival to kind of navigate with your natural, like, I have lived here a little bit and I know the burrows kind of vibe, to go find it. Or if you want to talk to people, it's a persuasion check to chat to people and find out where things are. Or if you want to try to remember back to, like, maps you've seen or studying you've done, it'd be a history check. So any of the three of those is fine.
I think survival. I feel like she might have, depending on how hardcore the tavern is, she might have been there before.
Yeah.
She doesn't get out much, but she. All right, we'll see. Survival. It 12.
Okay. With the 12, as you begin to like follow the main road, others kind of naturally, I think, flock behind you. Emmy, you're also familiar with this place. You can either roll survival alongside Cleo, or you can give her advantage. It's up to you how often you think you would have left campus. If you were just like a lock-in, where you don't like leave the campus very often.
Because I would have. My home was in this area anyway.
Right.
Like, but I'm actually not helping Iris because I would assume. Can I see if I can I insight Raz to see, like, because I'm very aware of anxiety and things like
Right.
this. So can I roll an insight to see if I notice that he's overwhelmed?
Let's ask this, Brody. How visibly overwhelmed are you? Do you think it would require somebody to have to like pay really close attention to you, or do you think it's obvious?
They don't know him too well, and he plays stoic a lot, so it would probably be a little more difficult. He's not going to be like hands on head kind of thing. It's more of almost looks like he's trying to go in one direction and stops, and might start trying to go in another direction, and just kind of like, yeah.
Let's say it's like a DC 12 insight check then. That seems about appropriate for that. Oh,
Damn it, I rolled an 11. Damn it.
Well,
His behavior feels familiar, but you can't place exactly if he's just, disoriented because of the time or what's going on.
I had a sort of a similar question for Emmy. After what you said, Emmy would be feeling about going against authority and leaving before talking to the lore master. Are you kind of wearing your heart on your sleeve in that regard, or is that also something that I would need to look into? Yeah, so Beryl, while we're kind of like leaving the campus itself, the Welldiver, I can't think of a better word now that we've got NYU in our heads about it, but
Sorry.
No worries.
It is very much a campus for what
Yeah.
it's worth. It's pretty big.
While we're kind of leaving it, Beryl's just gonna kind of be like, look, I don't exactly love the way things went down either, and I don't love keeping the Welldivers in the dark about it, but look, I don't trust Bast either, but I think if we can get some answers from him and we don't like him, we can always go back and talk to the lore master and the Welldivers, but for now, this might be our best option.
Well, yeah, I'm more worried about Scarlet, was it?
I believe so, yeah, the one with the ickiness in her.
Because, I mean, like, if it's a mushroom spore or something, we should be concerned that she's now out and about, right?
Well, we made sure the Welldivers are aware of it. I don't think she's walking free. I think they're looking into it.
Did we, though? I mean, Bast knew, and he's very much like, don't tell anybody.
Was Bast the only one
Like-
who told about that?
Well, and Cat God.
Well, Ren, which
his-
she's a subordinate to Bast.
Right, his
Yeah.
little uwu lady. All right.
No!
We went there.
I'm inserting that whenever I need it in the thing later.
That'll be the cuss bleep if we ever have to do that.
Oh god.
A cuss-free episode is just all ooh.
I'll clip it. Don't worry.
Please
Oh
God.
God, I forgot that. That's
No.
going to happen. Damn it.
All
Um,
right. Well, you are right about that. That's something we need to keep our eye on. We'll make our way back as soon as we've spoken with Bast. See if we can figure out what's going on with her.
Hmm. I'm thinking. She goes quiet because she's thinking of the fact that she'd gotten back in contact with, like, she'd heard the staticky voices and she'd had her thing, and she's like, okay, well, that's not good. That apparently I vanished, and that's not a good thing. And she's still trying to understand exactly what's been asked of her.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
so she's a little bit distracting now because she's like
Yeah.
trying to divide her time between answering Beryl,
Mm-hmm.
looking at Raz, going. Normally he's kind of weird because normally he's like direction go.
Yeah,
Uh,
a little more
That's right.
cocksure
So-
usually.
yeah, and also just distracted by her own stuff that she's trying to figure everything out. So yeah, she's very aware that she's still got Kaida's arm around her neck,
Mhm.
pulling her along.
Yes, ma'am, you do.
Yeah,
I feel
there's no
like-
fighting that.
Iris
It
would
kind
be
of
on the
goes
other
with it
side.
though. You get the impression that she's been in this position before. You don't know
Mhm.
why, but she's been in this position before.
Iris would be on the other side of Kaida, and if you ever did share about your eating contest wins, like your previous week's fun fact, she'd be like, "Oh dear, do you have any good recipes? I love to cook. Henry was always a lot better than I am," and is just chatting to you about food.
I will trade you recipes for those delicious things you keep in your bag.
Oh, there's a bit of magic in it, but I'd love to.
Hell yeah.
For the record, Beryl has also spent quite a long time here in Pilgrimage and the area around the Welldivers campus. So I wouldn't be opposed to helping out Iris with the navigating to the thing.
Okay.
We've come full
you-
circle.
Hell
Iris
yeah.
is
You guys aren't
getting
gonna, yeah, you guys aren't gonna have too much trouble. Even with the 12, like Iris is familiar enough. You're getting assistance. It just takes a little bit longer because the thing about this space is that there are larger buildings around the well divers, and as around the last wall, the campus of the well divers, and as you're moving down the street, the structure of the buildings becomes steadily smaller. But this Titan head, despite being massive for a skull, is situated between two larger buildings, so it's a little tough to see. But as you approach it, I'm going to move you guys over to that map. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
When we
Yes.
originally headed off as well, despite, because he just seems a bit out of place, and he kind of seems at least a little bit jumpy. Before Kaida pulls Emmy away, she does kind of quietly say Raz's name and kind of like hold out a hand for him, like as in, you can take my hand. And she doesn't want to touch him without asking, but gives the offer of like to take his hand and
Aw,
give him a direction kind of thing.
that's the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I completely assume Raz is going to completely ignore it.
Well, he's gonna look at the hand and then look at you, and then just be like, I'm trying to think of the right words, but anyway, what he's gonna imply is that he will follow you begrudgingly, but he's not gonna hold your hand, like lead the way kind of a thing.
Human touch won't kill you, Raz.
You don't know that.
You humans
might.
could have some weird disease. I don't know.
just,
Just
Jill
know-
going,
just know
please
for
give
your-
sight.
For your soft little heart.
Yeah, I gave her sight whenever she did it because I was like, I'm sorry. Hers, for some reason, is the only one that did that whenever it updated, which is funny. As you guys are approaching this, this is kind of settling into again, like if you're imagining like higher commerce, there's a lot of like taller taverns and even like some, different places like spas and bars and restaurants and places of business. And there's also a lot of the houses of the gods immediately around Lastwall, where Leonan's very large building is about 3 stories tall, and it's like a full city block long. It's very big. Some of the other gods' houses are much smaller. Some of them even as small as like a singular, like a physical house in size. As you kind of move down the street, you notice different businesses as you kind of get into a more like this is where people tend to stay if they're off strip kind of place. And you come up to a large Titan skull, and on right where the nose would have been in this large skull, you see a plaque inlaid that says "No Mind Pub."
So
Good
Kaida's gonna be
mind.
like in love with this because she's a farm girl who's never really been around the city until she came here. And also, hi, if we go through the teeth, does that mean I'm the food this time?
As long as it doesn't chew us, I think we're good.
Adding to notes, Kaida has existential crisis.
I wrote down vor. I had a different.
Oh,
I had a
no.
different. I had a different read on that.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, you walk up and you can see this is the pub that appears to have been mentioned to you. But the doors are shut, and if you like to do anything, let me know.
Right?
I mean,
Let's
Raz
see.
is gonna just head to the door like he always does. So
And you guys should be able to click on that door and open it. It's not locked.
Woo!
It didn't do anything.
there it goes.
Ah!
He was up above it. Yeah.
Well, either way,
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
being dragged with Kaida. So.
That's right, you are.
As soon as you walk in, you notice a woman sitting at this small, like hostess desk here, and she looks like this.
Ah.
And she says, "Hi, I'm Rand. Welcome to the No. Hi, I know you guys. Hey,
Hello, dear.
what are y'all doing here? It's good to see you."
I feel like you were part of the discussion that we were going to meet here.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm in a lot of places at once sometimes, and it messes up my like brain. Anyway, the other party's over there, and she points to the corner, and you notice the group that you had gone down in the well, besides the Goliaths, are in this corner. And she says, Bast isn't here yet. I don't know where he went. But I don't know, he's probably running errands or something to come check on you guys. I'm sure he'll be here in a minute. Do you need anything? You want a drink?
Can I have
Yes.
sight? Please.
Oh, again? What
I
happened?
can only see this.
What?
It's the light from the skull. Everything else is pitch black.
Oh my
I was gonna
God.
say mine is showing my perimeter. That's for sure.
Yay.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, let me give you.
Y'all
I
not
guess I
have
need to
dark
add more
vision?
lights.
It's a good thing
And
I'm running the
I'm a-
stream because I have vision. I have
Oh
so
my
much
God,
vision.
what
You
is
can see
that?
everything.
I love it. I'm a human woman. I do
I'm
not.
a human woman.
A
I'm
human
sorry,
woman
does
with
that mean that you
cataracts.
didn't
Give me a
see the
break.
adorable blue thing that appeared?
This guy up here appears to be behind what looks like almost like a bar, but it has chairs behind it for some reason. And he's kind of like climbing up and down the chairs, and he's making drinks, and he's also like he moves back into this like furnace, the skull furnace looking thing, and he's cooking stuff as well.
Amazing.
And you can kind of see him
God,
back
he's
there moving around
adorable.
I have one quick question. Is
for
the...
everybody to see. That's what he looks like.
Oh!
This is one of the few, back when I was making art for D&D, this is one of the few things that I actually made. He's like a bunch of different piecemeal, and I built him in a bunch of different layers, but I'm proud of him. He's my favorite guy.
I love him.
He's so cute.
Can you DM that to me?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Thank
Oh god, I'll have
Oh,
to
yeah,
find
I've
it. He's in
got
my
my
That's a
familiar
later.
with
Yeah,
me.
right.
Yeah.
Forgot about
I-
that.
I have
We,
a
we
quick
still have a
question.
tag along group.
Is the girl that was at the front the one? I mean, I know that we ran into her before. Is she a god?
This
Ren?
girl here, as you
Yes.
walk in, her name is
Mhm.
Rin. You don't know.
Okay. Raz is gonna kind of be a little generally polite, like a little nod and scan the room, and when he sees the group over there, he's gonna get a little avoiding of it because the harpy's there, and so he's gonna take the long way around and kind of like make his way to this part of the bar, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
trying to
and
stay
she
as
is,
far
for
away.
what it's worth, Raz, giving you dagger ass stares right now.
Mhm.
This is
And the whole
harpy.
time he's walking, he's just giving the look too. But yeah, it's just his way
Oh my
of being
God,
like,
I
oh,
love
they're
their
here.
ears.
I'll
that is
release them,
Yeah.
Iris and Emmy. I won't hold your shoulders anymore because I'm like, hey, we know those people. That's nice toes and the rest of them. I'm gonna just go walk up to him.
Oh, sorry. What about
Okay.
I look-
toes?
I look at Iris and I'm like, mouth the word, nice toe.
Well, I mean, if you're into that kind of thing.
God help me, we've got Vorid toes now.
Kai is having an
What
episode for
fetishism.
sure. The horniest episode for each of us is anyway. Yeah, as you walk up, she looks at you, and she's still like the harpy is dagger set on Raz. Like she's not stopped looking at him. But as you walk up, she's like, "Hey, how can I help you?"
Hey, I just wanted to check on you guys after everything that happened down in the, ye old dungeons, right? You had a stomach open last time. Like, is everything okay? Are we doing good? Can I buy you guys some drinks?
You see
I love her.
Red. I do too. You see Red, who looks like this, stands up, and he says, "Hello, new friend. It is good to see you again. Yes, Scarlett had her stomach opened." And you see Scarlett in the background, like she's not wearing her armor right now. She is bandaged, but she looks like this. And her stomach has an open bandage on it, and she has like a tank top on. And she looks over at you and she says, "Thank you for your concern. I'm feeling better, but I probably need additional. Bast is supposed to be getting something for me now."
Oh, well, I'm sure if Bast is in charge of it, it'll be fine.
That's the equivalent of her saying like something horrible about him. She's just so sweet.
Right, we know
Uh,
what the things those mushrooms were putting in people do. you really need to make sure that the well divers are aware of what's in you, and that they can get it out.
She looks at you, and you. I don't think you need to roll for this. You see, like, her face go a little bit more white, and panic kind of starts setting into her face, and she's like, what do you mean? What is it gonna do?
Did you
Oh.
did you not know? I thought that's why you were being so cagey. The Goliaths had those things in them, and the mushroom men
And they what?
The mushroom men erupted out of
well, I mean, Beryl, we would assume that if
She's like
Bast
standing
was
up and moving
healed-
back and panicking.
Well, no. I assume that Bast would have healed her properly, not just slapped a bandage on it and hoped for the best. I'm sure it's
I'd be
fine.
Sure.
I don't.
It's
I
just
I give Iris a look like,
Oh, sorry.
work with me here.
She like brushes her nose at you, like, I got it.
Do you want a mushroom man erupting out of her in this very pub? Why are we? I'll give you a little insight. Beryl has an 8 charisma.
At
This is
that
why
mention,
Emmy's looking at you, going, "What are you doing?"
at that mention, you see Scarlett is she's like she stood up fully, knocked her chair over backward, and she's moved back, and she's holding her stomach. And she said, "It was just a gem. It was just a gem. It was just a gem. It was
was
a
a gem.
mushroom."
No. It's
Wait.
okay. It's okay. I'm
Dee.
sure that everything is okay.
Is it a bad
I-
time to mention that the gem was a people?
Well, we don't know
I
that about
just-
all the gems.
I
Point.
give them both like the filthiest
you can-
look. I mean,
You were watching Emmy as Scarlett is like panic spiraling. Like she went from like surprised to shocked to now she's like hyperventilating. Like
It's okay.
Well,
If you would like, I can have a bit of a look and make sure that Bast took care of everything. Everything will be fine.
Yes. Do you remember the
Can I
color
do a
of the
medicine
gem?
check on her if possible?
Yeah. And actually, as you're moving to kind of do a lot of this, you watch as this young man here stands up. He has kind of a purplish robe on, and only one of his hands is like sticking out of it. The other one is like underneath the robe. And you watch as he waves a hand, and hang on, I have to see if she can. Oh yeah, no. As Scarlett like immediately calms down as he waves a hand in front of her, you watch Scarlett's entire like demeanor change, and she like starts to, okay, and he says, Scarlett, it's okay, everything is fine. These people have come to help. Can you please? Is there anything you can do?
Well, the first thing I can do is a medicine check, because
Yeah.
that's what I'd like to do. Make sure she hasn't like torn stitches or anything. That's a 15.
Iris, are you assisting? Because if so, I'd like to give Emmy advantage or have you roll
Of
separately.
course, dear. Yes, I'll assist.
Can I also
Okay.
roll Arcana or something to see if I can recognize what he did? Because I'm pretty sure I know
Yeah.
what spell he cast. but-
Mm.
Yeah, please.
Ooh,
Good God!
27 on the Arcana check.
Damn!
Nat 20.
Nat
plus
20.
7.
You
20
I'm gonna
broke
give
the
you-
spell.
I'm going to give you a couple of different things with this, because you rolled a nat 20. One, it is the spell Calm Emotions. So he did, in fact, use a spell to effectively like cut off her, panic attack, so that she's only temporarily, for now, not feeling the panic that she was. Whenever you cast the spell, and most people the somatic components require both hands.
Mhm.
When you watched him do it, he was only using one. At least you thought at first. But then as you were watching him, you realized that a second hand was moving underneath his robe, independent of his body.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, I've heard of a third leg before, but Jesus.
Fuck me. All right. I can't make anything.
By the way,
I can't make anything.
have you seen 2024 Calm Emotions, by the way?
I have
No,
not.
Apparently, it's a.
I would just assumed it
20-foot
was enough, like-
radius sphere. It's an alien.
Oh no, yeah, no. I know it can affect
We all
everybody.
just meadow out.
Oh,
I
man.
just assume all of you weren't gonna be affected.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like I'm not gonna make you guys. remember
I
this.
don't even remember if it always was or not. But yeah. Anyway.
It's always had a range, yeah.
I haven't filmed
It's like
this
a
for next
crowd
since my
calmer.
20s.
So Beryl will kind of like sidle over to him while they're doing the medicine-y check. I'm gonna sidle over to him, but I'm gonna let them carry on what they were doing.
Okay. And I'm gonna come back to the two of you in just a second. Raz, what are you doing with this fella up here?
Well, he's kind of leaning on the bar and staring at the situation over there. He was hard focused on the harpy until you guys scared the girl, and he got kind of like watching to see if he needed to step in, and then when he realized that they kind of were swarming to like take care of her, he just decided to stay, and then leans over to see if there's any way he can communicate with this thing about purchasing some kind of beverage, even just trying to figure out what they have.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be confused because this thing doesn't look very humanoid, so he doesn't know. He'll
This
talk
thing is-
slowly.
This thing is okay. What do you say to him?
Does he
See
have a
what's up.
name, by the way? Because I need
Oh,
to
he
know,
does.
so-
He will. He'll tell you. What do you
Okay.
what are you saying to him? He said you speak slowly.
Cannot
Yeah.
wait to hear this thing's voice.
I know.
Deep Brooklyn.
It would be,
I demand
hello,
wetness.
do you understand me?
Well, hi there, buddy. Welcome to the pub.
He
I'm
will be taken
Guzman.
aback.
I'm Guzman. Welcome. I got this. I got all kinds of things you can have if you want booze. I got lots of booze, man. It's me, Guzman, the boozeman. Anyway,
Guzman the
Guzman or
Boozman.
Guzman?
I've got
Love it.
I got food already cooking for you guys, so you can have it in any like minute or two. It's almost done. I hope you guys like meat. If anybody's a vegetarian, raise your hands.
And he says that like loud to the entire room.
They're all busy. Okay, the food will be ready in a minute, but I've got beer, I got cider, I got some wine, and last but not least, I've got spirits of undiscernible qualities.
Concerned.
I'll try a spirit of undiscernible qualities.
Hell yes, you will.
And you watch as he reaches into his body and pulls out a bottle of a clear liquor and like reaches in with the other hand. He's also moving his like tail appendage is actually like
Mm-hmm.
cooking the thing that's behind him too. He's like doing a lot of things at once.
Okay.
And he puts the bottle on the table and he says,
Do you want like one shot? You want like a round for everybody? It's on the house. Bast told me you guys were coming, so I got you covered.
One for all, but the harpy.
And all for oh fuck, okay, that's cool.
That's
I
fun.
love
mean,
the
it's
fact that
free.
you're going out of your way to dissuade the racism quotes.
We're not denying the allegations tonight.
he looks at you and goes,
It's free. If you don't have to pay for it. Like you just don't want her to have. Okay, all right. I see by your demeanor that you don't like my
I was gonna say,
question.
he just stares at him for questioning his reasoning. He doesn't even try to explain it away. He's just like, I said no for the harpy.
You got it, man. Here it comes.
and he pulls out like a bunch of shots from underneath the table and he pours them in a line. And then he like does a weird maneuver with his chest a little bit. He goes, "Ugh." There's like a little bit of flame comes out on top of the different spirits
Oh,
on the table. That burp is going to be wild in the audio. I'm excited about that. And then he goes,
Okay, guys. If you want like I don't know, like any other drinks, your stuff, I'll have your food in just like a minute or two. I know I already said that, but look, I'm bad at estimating time. I don't have a lot of like. Anyway, I'll have your food in a minute. Here's your drinks. Enjoy. Blow that out before you drink it.
and he like pushes all the shots to you.
Okay.
Amazing.
I take all the shots, still flaming, and I walk over. I'm gonna go to Iris because Barrel's right next to the harpy, so he's not wanting to go next to him.
I
And
know, dear.
hand the tray to her. and take a shot off the tray and blow it out and just hold it and kind of like see if anybody wants it, and just like, and kind of, he never says anything. He just kind of gestures like, here, take one.
Oh, thank you, dear. She'll take one. I guess just put it onto the table, and shot in hand, continue helping this woman.
That's the picture I have of like you guys are like checking her wounds, making sure she's medically okay, and he walks up with like a flaming tray full of shot.
And she fully takes it.
Oh god, I love that
lovely.
so much. Did y'all do the advantage on the medicine check, or did somebody else roll a second one? Either Emmy can roll again, or
I do
Yeah,
have a
you can
question
roll.
though. I have a feat or whatever where I'm supposed to be able to detect good or evil or whatever. I don't
Divine
know exactly.
sense.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
you can
yes,
burn a bonus action to use divine sense.
but does it allow me to what? I don't know this one yet, so I don't know if this would make sense to use it now. But with us being cautious about her possibly still having that gem inside of her, if I use that, would it help me to possibly, not obviously, I'm not trying to say yes or no, but is it
You're fine.
reasonable to use it to try to detect if there's something evil inside of her?
What you keep in mind, this is a brand new ability for you, so you're not
Right.
entirely sure how it functions yourself. But what you
Okay.
feel like it would give you the ability to do is to determine, if something is from, maybe originally from another plane, everything's from this plane now. You can locate them and tell the type. There's also an ability that it has now to determine whether or not something feels like it is consecrated, like treated in a holy way, or desecrated.
Right. I
And
knew there was
so
some
you're
kind of
not
feature
entirely
that
sure.
could like smell evil, like it stunk to me. So I read that.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
divine sense. Usually, you can celestial stuff smells good.
Okay.
Yeah, evil smells putrid. I think that's
Okay.
same as 2014.
And I just wanted
Mhm.
to check. So, all right. Well, then, can I activate Divine Sense and see if I notice
Yeah.
anything? Okay.
Yeah, when you activate divine sense, you don't. Hang on. A couple of things actually. Hang on.
Okay.
God help me. First of all, this entire space, this entire pub, is giving off a very warm feeling to your effect. Effectively,
Okay.
you're not familiar with this feeling, but you suddenly feel like you're like covered in I don't know, what's a food that Raz really likes, like warm, fresh bread. I don't know. What's something that he would really love? Okay, it just feels very comfortable.
Seeds and nuts.
You get the
Yeah,
feeling
exactly.
that this
Bird food.
area is consecrated, protected by some kind of divine right. The effect, you don't sense anything from Scarlet,
Okay.
but you do even from this range. You get a kind of like good smell, good positive vibes coming from Emmy. A kind of like maybe a honey kind of smell.
Okay.
I like the way you smell, Emmy.
Yeah. Oh.
But it would be, I assume it would be confusing for him of why she would be giving off a pleasant odor at all.
Yeah, you were not. I don't think you're familiar
Rude.
with this enough. I know, right? I don't think you're super familiar with the, specifics
Yeah.
of what it means yet. But you do have the feeling that it is a positive thing about her. You're just not sure why.
And it's just her, right? Like nobody else is giving off anything.
Nobody else is giving that
Okay,
off.
okay,
No.
just making sure. Okay, cool.
Right. So yeah. Did
I rolled a
Oh, yeah.
21 on that.
Yes, you
recheck.
did. So, as Emmy, as you start to work, Iris starts to kind of guide your hands to where the wound is. The wound is clean. It was, as I mentioned, like cut with a very sharp, like maybe a scalpel or something very surgical. It was not stitched whenever she originally left, but whoever stitched it did a very good job. Is very cleanly taken care of. But it is closed. And you did heal her with magic before, and you kind of watched the wound sort of close during that time, but it needed some additional work, clearly. And as you kind of like are feeling around the wound to make sure it's clean, you can feel the gem in her stomach. At first it feels like it's in a very odd kind of position, and it almost feels like you can move it. But as you're getting Iris's assistance, you realize that the gem is almost like it's locked in place. It feels like it's like stuck wherever it is, right in the middle of her stomach.
As a secondary backup, can I cast Detect Poison and Disease?
Yeah, absolutely you can.
Iris will be talking softly to her as we're doing this, and she's like, "Dearie, do you remember the? It seems like a silly question, but the color of the gem that was put inside you."
She starts to try to remember, and she's like, I was and Red speaks up and goes, "Hello, it was black."
Well, thank you, Red.
You're very welcome. You don't detect any poison or disease. How big is the range on that? Like a cone or something?
The range
You sense
is
the location. Oh, geez. Within 30 feet of yourself. Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Got
Oh
some
dear, this is a bad
issues?
thing.
Creature or contagion.
Anyone with STDs hits just
Ooh.
pings me.
Tarvin is riddled. No, yeah, you actually sense Bast walking into the building because he's no. I'm kidding. But you do sense some what feels like some poisons underneath the desk over here, around where the alcohol is. It's all concentrated on one side. You also, it's blocked by 1 foot, blah blah blah. You are also able to sense what feels like coming from above you, a venomous creature. And what does it say about it? You sense the kind of poison creature. Okay, the type of creature is a is it like how? What do I have to tell you about this creature? It is a snake-like humanoid. Working in the upstairs area.
Okay.
I was working in the upstairs area. I was thinking like hanging out in the rafters in the shadows.
No, there's a second floor to this building that goes up to the eyes.
Makes a lot of sense.
So
now.
like, yeah, there's like an office area. It looks like there's a sign on the back wall that
It's
says
like you're being
office that goes up.
awfully nonchalant about her just detecting a Yuan Ti, just like chilling, about to strike from above.
See, yeah, no, that wouldn't be odd. But so I very gently take my hands off of Scarlet, and I'm like, well, the good news is you seem to be healing fine. And from what I can tell, at least, you're not poisoned or anything like that. So on that front, you're okay.
She's just like looking at you, still kind of breathing heavy, because she's looking like she's waiting for you to say something else.
At this point in time, at least from a rudimentary, without more spells or equipment, you're okay at the moment. You've got nothing to worry about.
She just like sighs for a second. It's like, okay. Now, what happened to the other people, please?
I have a feeling it had to do with an activation rather than just having the gem. So I'm still going to recommend going and seeing someone about that as soon as possible, but there was a spellcaster there who was doing some chanting and stuff. It seemed to be some kind of sacrifice, and it did unfortunately lead to the demise of the Goliaths.
You watch as like, you can tell she's able to manage this because of the spell that's being concentrated on her, but she is like, her eyes are wide. She's like, okay, just monster inside of me. That's fine. I'm gonna be fine. There's a monster in me, you said.
More at the moment, there just seems to be a gem, and unfortunately, I don't know how the gem to mushroom folk ratio works, but yeah. You should still go see someone who's more adept at magic and things like that, because the possibility is that gem might have some connection, but we did take care of the person responsible for at least the ritual.
Think of it more like
And
a
you
monster
hear-
seed or egg, not a monster itself.
Oh dear.
Emmy fights the face palm.
Dear, you got a rock in you, and it's gonna pass, and it'll be fine.
Great, she's just got a really bad kidney stone.
As you guys
can
are,
I lock eyes with Iris? Considering I know that gem feels pretty locked in place, I kind of look
Yeah.
at Iris, and can I kind of discreetly kind of give like a little head shake?
Like that, it's not
Yeah.
gonna pass.
You know, give a
I
little
don't
head
think
shake.
Scarlett's so panicked, like she's not noticing the little like things going between you, even though she has this like spell focused in on her. And as you guys are talking about this, you hear Bast's voice as he walks in and says, "Hi, Rin. Good, you're all here. I have finally shaken what I believe was a tail, and I have what I think will help. I hate to ask you this, Scarlett, but will you lay down on this table over here?" And he begins walking over to this table right here.
Oh dear, buy her dinner first.
Wow.
Also, shouldn't we do this somewhere upstairs where there aren't other patrons that could ask questions?
Are there
There's no
patrons?
need to worry about that. And he looks down at Rin, and she walks over and closes the door and locks it.
Thank you, Rind.
Two things real quick. Did those flaming shots ever make their way around the whole group?
Oh yes, here we
And,
go.
No.
Do we
they
want
did
to
not.
make?
I
Do
thought
we
about
want to?
it
It's a little late, but do we want to take our 5-minute break before we operate on Scarlet?
Shots, 5-minute break.
Everybody take your
surgery.
shots. Is anybody not drinking?
Well, we know one person's not.
Yeah, I mean, Pick looks around the table and she just takes Reds from him and then drinks it. Like, eyes locked again on you the whole time, Raziel. She takes Red's drink, blows it out of the corner of her mouth, like, and then she just chugs it and looks at you all angry. Tarvin does not drink his either, but it is, for anyone else who doesn't want to drink it, that's fine. It has a very distinct, have you ever had absinthe? It has a very, like, licorice kind of taste to it. But almost like in a musty way, in a very like maybe this has gone bad kind of way, is a very strong, very or like flowery, licoricey, and musty kind of drink. It's very unique and kind of bad.
Tastes like musty, bad absinthe.
You said there's
All
another
right.
one that's not being taken though.
Yeah, there's one on the table.
Raz is gonna grab it before she can, and he'll just down it just to make sure she doesn't get any more. If she
All right.
anything
now
anything
you've
that
had a
seems
second
like
shot.
they're left. Yeah, he's gonna be stupid here.
Perfect. Roll a con save now that you've had 2 shots at us.
All right. Let's see.
And then we'll take our break right after that.
15.
Okay, yeah, you're fine for right now. It hits your stomach harder than you would have expected, but you're a tough boy. You're able to handle it. You feel good.
I think the rot
All
got
right.
into the wormwood on this batch.
Sorry, guys. I should have stored that one. It's not supposed to be room temperature, and God knows I'm always room temperature.
That's all right. You said they're on Bast. Keep them coming.
You got it, buddy. Wine is better if it's what you can get. Okay, you just want more of these shots. That's good.
And he starts pouring you guys more shots, and he burps over the top of them to set them on fire again. And with that, we will take our quick break.
Dear God. Okay, it just means that it'll be a fucking
Guys,
husk.
this isn't Star Wars, all right? Stone doesn't just catch on fire.
It's a deep cut, my
Woo.
man. That's a deep cut. Zach has very important business he wants to get to, if you know what I mean. Anyway, welcome back, everyone, to the stream. We are in the middle of about to be surgery, it seems like. Bast has walked up to the table and asked Scarlett to join him. I keep that Scarlett is so hard for my brain to do. I want to call her Scarlett every time, but it's Scarlett. I know you could hear us. Hell, that was on purpose. As he directs her to the table, she kind of looks around at each of you, look for kind of reassurance that she should actually do this.
I mean, how much worse could it get?
You know what? Emmy shuts the fuck up. Emmy shuts the fuck up.
How much is she hesitating on this?
She just kind of like looks around briefly for people to like confirm. She's like starting to move that direction, but she is like hesitating a little bit.
Iris gives
As
a
much
big
as I
old
don't trust-
granny smile.
I give her
As
some
much as
thumbs
I
up.
don't trust
Barrel's just
Bast, I
on
kind
with
of
it.
do.
Raz is gonna, if she's kind of moving in that direction, he's gonna kind of put kind of like a comforting arm around her shoulders, of like kind of leading her that way. And the only reason he's doing that is because a god said to do it, and so he's just like, you need to do this.
The second you like put your hands on her, Pick stands up. Pick is the harpy, and she walks up and like stands directly in front of your face like this, and she just stares at you directly in the eyes.
Raz
And
puts his
doesn't
hand
move.
on his sword but doesn't pull it.
Alright.
Iris.
She's moving space to like get Scarlett around because these two are blocking the way. She's like, "Come on, deity, it's."
Beryl
So Raz
leans
just
over
smiles
to
and stares at her.
Beryl leans over to, I forget his name, Tarvin, I think, and just says,
Yeah.
You, you may want to have that spell at the ready for as long as my buddy up
there, and he points, and your friend, and he points to the harpy.
are in the same vicinity.
Oh, are they like? Have they dated? I'm sorry. I'm not
I
familiar.
love it.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I think in this case they just kind of hate you. I think it's more hate at first sight than love at first sight.
Oh, okay. I think I've read a book about this. There's something about one bed, and anyway,
Oh, Iris, that sounds
And
like one of the ones you're always trying to get me to read.
Oh, I tell you, dear, they're lovely.
I believe the genre is enemies to lovers.
At this point, Pick is like staying in front of you, Raz, so you can no longer get close to Scarlett or Scarlett. If you want to go past her, just tell me so we can work that
No,
out.
he wasn't even gonna like necessarily walk her. It was more just to like give her that confidence of like, let's go and kind of moving on. He doesn't know
Okay.
her, so he wasn't trying to like push her or anything.
Got it. Bast, as he approaches the table, pulls out what appears to be some kind of a like stoppered elixir, and he looks in your direction and says, Imania, I'm so sorry to ask this of you, but I do know that the lore master was a gifted medical teacher, and I believe you took many of his classes. Could you and Red please assist me? And Red will actually, he'll drop his mask. You guys can see his face, so I'll swap this real quick. Changing layers. And he, whenever he drops his mask, looks like this.
Baby.
That's way more
Cute
pleasant than I
face.
expected. He looks.
I adore Red. Like,
I just expected him to be like a nice guy who's really creepy looking, and instead he's really nice, and it's like, okay.
I expected no nose.
Are those horns like an accessory on the hood, or are they part of his head?
Roll a perception check, because it's a little difficult to tell with the way that he kind of like, he normally keeps himself more covered than he's being right now. He seems like he's more comfortable.
Perception. Ooh, 19. Rolling pretty
Nice.
well today.
Oh, they appear, although they do look like horns, they are what appears to be made out of the same metal as his. I'll bring him back up. The same metal as his like skin. And you know what? Since you can perceive him so well, I'm just going to show you what he looks like. I have to pull out a whole nother one.
Layers.
So excited for this.
And he's still wearing his robe, but he looks like this.
Oh,
That's cool.
And the horns on his head are metallic, and they almost, although they resemble horns, they almost look like small, like extensions, antenna kind of thing. If it, in an ancient kind of sense, they almost look like some sort of like, connection on his head.
Barrel's not gonna like say much right now because he's not gonna interrupt what's about to happen with what's her name, but can just kind of in his head, can any part of his experience as a blacksmith and armor smith give him any sort of extra insight into what kind of a construction he is, or what those antenna like horns might do?
Sure. Let's do a history or an arcana check with advantage because of your proficiency. Do you have like any artisan ability around that?
No, I did not take a background that gave me any kind of an artisan stuff.
Okay. Well, then either of those with advantage is fine. I think it makes sense to give you advantage because of your, history with this.
Okay, 17 was the highest with advantage on arcana.
Okay. Thinking about the design of this person, this automaton, you know a couple of things about it, from the war mostly. In the city of hang on, I gotta look at the map. I don't remember the names of my own cities.
The city of
the grand city of Hollowvale is a like kind of a technologically advanced city more than it is anything else. Their access to effectively steam power gave them an edge to develop faster than a lot of other communities. And they also have closer access to like mining, being in a mountain, and also having closer access to the kind of volcano area that had some natural resources. As a result, they had developed these kind of automaton like creations a number of years back to assist in the war effort, but very quickly it became clear that whatever method they were using to make these had instilled some autonomy into these creations so that they became their own selves, their own persons. Even with a 17, you're not familiar with the process by which that creation might have happened or why they might have sentience. But he does, in fact, seem like one of these sentient objects. The horns on the top of his head, although metallic, they have some functionality they're somehow related to the fact that he is sentient. You do not know precisely how, but you know that the design that started to have these like protrusions out of their heads is what was eventually common in the sentient ones.
Interesting. Cool.
Okay. Bast asked you, Emmy, to join him in helping Scarlet, if you feel comfortable doing so.
She figures, in theory, yes, she does vaguely know what she's doing. So she will help.
Okay. As you come over to the table, he looks at you and says, all right, well, this is going to be fun. And he unrolls like a roll of medical tools, and you see in front of you like, forceps and scalpels and things like that. And he says, all right, so Scarlett, drink this, please. And he hands her the stoppered bottle, and she drinks that slowly, kind of looking around the room to make sure that she feels safe. And then she kind of lays her head back down. And as soon as she does, you watch her entire body freeze. And he says, okay, so a couple of things. That's not a cure. That is a paralysis and a deadening agent. It's to ensure that she both won't feel, remember, or move when we're doing what we're about to do. Red, it's very important to me that you do not allow her chest to close once we open it. And Emmy, I'm going to need your help in attempting to extract this thing based on what we saw in the well.
Well, I'll certainly do my best.
He picks up a scalpel and hands it to you, and he says, "If you could, follow along the stitches, and not too deep, but you'll feel the gem when you hit it. And I'd like you to make a medicine check if you feel comfortable trying to open Scarlet's stomach."
I'll attempt it. That's a 20.
Hell
Yeah. All right.
Not a nat 20, but a 20.
Yeah. As your blade sinks into the bottom of her sternum and begins to move down slowly, you don't see a single reaction out of Scarlet. And as she starts to open, Red is using some kind of functionality in his hands to what appears to be both like freezing or water or something. It's like keeping the blood away from the middle of the wound, while also stopping the flow of it directly into this midsection, almost as if he has done this recently. When you open the stomach, you see very clearly this black kind of onyx-like gem that is in like a rough-hewn looking gem in the middle of her stomach. And coming out of that gem, you notice these little like key-like looking roots coming off in different directions that appear to be trying to like embed themselves into her stomach. And Bast, oh, go ahead.
No. Yeah, I just kind of glance at Bast because I know he can see what I'm seeing.
He looks at you and says, "Okay, steady hand. Why don't all of you have drinks and maybe don't watch what's about to happen?" As he pulls out one of the scalpels as well, and he's going to start trying to help you. I'm not going to make you roll multiple medicine checks, but he begins to try to help you remove the gem from her stomach, which is going to be a little time consuming. So it's going to take, at least maybe 30 minutes to an hour as you begin to start cutting away at this.
Oh. Good luck. And then Iris will turn around and say,
And this isn't like to remove you from the conversation, Emmy. If you want to talk to anyone, you can clear. You're obviously going to be able to hear everything they're saying, and Bast is going to be talking to you guys as well as you're working on this. As a matter of fact, he will look at you and say, "The thing that I noticed that is immediately concerning is that it reminds me of the what was it you had, Beryl?"
What? Sorry. Beryl has gone to the bar to get more drinks, but he is going to watch intently.
What are you getting to drink? Because I just love the image of you turning around and be like, "Huh?"
Hey, what? Booze. Sorry, your bartender's a bit loud. He's ordering ales.
That's not my fault.
He's gonna get ales for himself and anyone who wants one.
Okay.
But he is planning on watching the surgery intently because he is curious.
Okay. Yeah, as you turn around with a tray full of ale, and Guzman is like,
Hey, thanks, man. If you want to leave a tip, by the way, I got a tip jar right
"Here," and he holds out a very empty jar. And Bast says, "It reminds me of that scepter you found. As a matter of fact, could you bring that over here, please?"
Aye. Here, Iris, take the tray for me.
You keep taking the tray.
So he's got.
Oh, actually, on your way over, would you grab me a shot?
Aye, do you want the house special, whatever that was? It was a bit musty, but you know what? It went down pretty.
I look at
cleanly.
Bast and I'm like, is now really the time to actually be drinking, considering what we're doing?
Calm the nerves.
I mean, it's the best time to drink is when you're. Now is not the time for jokes. Guzman knows what I like, and you see him pour a dark liquor from underneath the table and hand it to you.
That being said,
Emmy.
that being said, Beryl, you seem to know a thing or two about stones and gemstones and things like that, right?
Aye, between me and Garnet, we know a thing or two.
Do you want to come and have a look at this? Because this doesn't look like the gemstones we found in the chickens.
Indeed. Let me free up my hand. So he chugs his ale, hands Bast the shot of brown or whatever it was, and pulls out the scepter. and goes over to
Bast
take a look.
does the same thing and chugs his before putting like his whole hand back inside Scarlet to like
Oh my
open up the
God.
wound.
Um, God, I get.
It's the joke I almost made earlier that I made in passing now, and I'm sorry.
While we're doing this, I'm constantly casting prestidigitation because we love a good backdoor surgery, apparently.
Yeah, it is. The red is also like similarly able to keep the wound open and maybe not clean. Prestidigitation is probably the better option for keeping it clean. But
We're just trying to keep her not septic at this
yeah,
point.
exactly. This old rusty bar full of germs. He looks at the scepter that you have and looks down at it and he says, "Do you notice anything familiar about the beyond the coloration? Is there anything else about the gem that strikes you as familiar? You being," and he looks at like your forehead and says, "Who you are."
I mean, is there? Because there was nothing particularly familiar to me about the gems that came out of the chickens, which then went into the scepter, right? Except for that
Right.
Garnet got an unpleasant feeling from them, and then a very unpleasant feeling from the scepter.
Doing a lot of Arcana checks.
I'm doing low. I heard you say Arcana. You kind of glitched out on me right before that, but yeah.
Sorry about that.
Garnet, again, I'll kind of lean on Garnet as well, like my own knowledge and any feelings Garnet can kind of get.
Okay.
So was that straight Arcana with advantage again?
Let's say with advantage. If let me put it this way, I will give you advantage if you let Garnet touch it.
The one that came out of the thing.
The one that's inside her stomach
It's
right
currently
now.
inside of her stomach.
Yeah, it is still. It is rooted down in there.
I'm not gonna make Garnet do that.
Okay.
Like maybe as a last resort if I really can't figure anything out myself. But the sense how much Garnet disliked the ones that came out of the chickens, and knowing what the scepter does and all that stuff came from the same area down there, I'm not gonna put Garnet in contact with this thing.
Okay.
All right, so just straight Arcana for myself is a 14.
Okay. With a 14, the immediate thing you recognize, one is that it looks like Onyx, and you know there's specific spellcasting abilities around Onyx, or certain spell components that Onyx tends to fall into, mostly necromancy. But I mean, whether or not that necessarily impacts the usage of the gem, you're not sure. The thing that strikes you as the most familiar is the rooting of the gem inside her body, the way it is like spidering, like in like almost key-like directions into her body, reminds you of the very large gem at the top of the scepter that has a very similar like long nail-like root that almost looks like a key at the end of it.
Yeah.
Each of those looks like a much smaller version of that very large one that you have in the top of the scepter.
Yeah. And did I get any kind of sense about, was that big one in the top of the scepter sort of like a keystone part of the whole thing? Like, does it seem like that one is what makes the other ones work or binds the whole thing together?
It definitely feels like it was. One of the things you noticed originally was that it looked like the gem had been broken apart into smaller pieces. They're all like kind of rough hewn in one way or another. And it looked like you could have like formed them back together by putting them in a design around that main one. The root being the kind of like outlier there, that it wouldn't have made sense to be that. But the scepter itself, it wouldn't activate until you put the large like one in first to kind of key lock it in there. It was almost like it was the scepter was designed around that specific set of gems.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll mostly kind of summarize all that to Bast. There was a lot to it, but he'll specifically kind of point to that top one and says, "Well, it bears the most similarity to this one, which sort of activates the whole network of the gems in the scepter."
And the spellcaster, he did refer to all of the gems in the scepter itself as his daughter, correct?
Well, I don't know if it was the scepter, the gems, or the lot of them as a whole, to be honest. Because remember, Emmy, the gems, and he'll kind of explain, what you're saying. Aside from being part of the scepter, the gems could kind of jigsaw together around that big one that went into the top of it.
Oh. He looks at you, Beryl, and says, "Oh, shit. Could you... I'm so sorry, but could you ask... Can you try to resonate with the gem in her stomach, please?"
As long as you don't think it's too much of a danger to myself or Garnet.
I think Iris would perk up when she hears him request that of Beryl.
Yeah.
Iris's father had ran an airship. He was connected to gems. Would Iris know
Yes.
if this were genuinely a risk to Beryl? And
Roll a history check, and of course I'll give you your personal, actually with advantage, because you have that kind of personal experience with it. Raziel, to jump back to you, by the way, Pick is still like in your face the whole time,
was gonna
like just
ask.
staring at you. Oh boy! I mean, you have some personal experience, but that is a 4.
Yeah, she...
Kaida, by the way, Guzman, at this point, as they're kind of like in this very intense moment, he's like, "All right, got your food, guys. I'm gonna bring it over here. These guys look hungry," and he's gonna come put the food on this table, in front of you. So, Kaida, if you want to be doing anything too, he's brought you some food, and you are welcome to do anything else you'd like to be doing.
I'm gonna just grab a roll and like tear a whole hunk off while I'm watching this all go down at the next table.
Okay. Tarvin has also wandered over to kind of watch what's happening. But Iris, with your personal experience, I'm going to give you the basics because you would know at least some of this, right? The way that gems in the world have worked is that they can only be resonated with by specific people. And that's not to say like a person who can resonate with gems can resonate with all of them. That is to say like certain gems only resonate with certain people. Sometimes that's 1-to-1 and they haven't been able to find anyone else who can resonate with it. Sometimes it's 1 to 2 or 3. It just kind of depends. It seems like each of them almost have their own personality, their own interest in who they're connected with. Yeah. And so trying to resonate, if you have the ability and experience to resonate with a gem and you attempt to do so with one that is not going to work out, you have seen people have unpleasant experiences with that, but it's not been inherently dangerous that you've seen so far.
Okay. I think she'll still kind of put a hand on Beryl's thing of like, now just remember, you don't owe these people anything. Just put it out there. And then you do what you do.
Yes, but well, this is we're in the thick of it now. This is feel like this is something I've got to do. If I can help and no one else can, I will.
So he's never resonated with any gem or crystal other than garnet, but he will give this a shot.
Okay. I think this would be we can either do a spellcaster check, like your spell attack bonus, or we can do an arcana check. Either way, I don't know which one's higher, but I imagine your arcana might be.
Yeah, because of the expertise, it'll be arcana. So let's go for that.
Okay.
That's
17. Okay. Beryl, as you resonating with this thing. Well, describe to me how you like to do scenes, especially. How would you resonate with this thing?
It's still inside of the check, right? It's not.
They're about halfway through cutting it out of her. But it is like it had like rooted into her, and so they're having to like
I think
cut around and loosen it.
Beryl reaches out towards the open wound to go to touch it, and if they stop him, he will kind of keep his hand as close as possible. But if they don't stop him, he's going to try to touch it.
Okay. Bast is not going to. Emmy, would you stop him?
No, because I, asked him to for his advice, and I usually defer to people with more knowledge on these things than in these situations.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he does look a little uneasy, like not like he's afraid of the consequences, but like he truly doesn't exactly know how this is going to go or if he can do it. So it's kind of a gentle, kind of a ginger, just a couple of fingertips onto the crystal, and then with his other hand, he's kind of touching his temple, so not actively touching the gem that's in his that kind of protrudes from his forehead, but like right next to it, and he just kind of closes his eyes and tries to feel it. He tries to like sense whatever he can sense from it. He's kind of trying to send thoughts to it to kind of awaken it or ask it, to commune with him, almost almost like a Spock Vulcan mind meld kind of a thing.
Okay. As you're focusing in on it and starting to give it kind of your feelings and thoughts, it suddenly feels like you are falling. And for those of you who are immediately adjacent to Beryl, it just looks like his eyes kind of roll up into his head a little bit. He doesn't fall; he's still just standing there, but his eyes roll up into his head a little bit. And Beryl, you feel cold, and it is dark, and all around you, you sense just kind of darkness in this like a large space, and suddenly you're moving, and you look down at your hands, and your hands are black, and you only have 2 fingers, 3. You're not sure, but you're hungry. God, you're so hungry. And as you begin to move, you walk into an open space, and you see a lot of dark figures moving in front of you, all in the same direction. More and more and more of them, and they have big mouths, and they are also hungry. And then you see one, and you can't resist, and you chomp down on it, you eat it, and you feel it fill you, but it's not enough, and you find another, and you tear through it, and you find another, and you tear through it, and you are beginning to devour dozens, hundreds, thousands of these other black creatures, these small black creatures, as you are getting bigger, hungrier, and you need more, and you feel it, and suddenly you're not in that blank space anymore, but that hunger is inside of you, and you're seeing everyone around the table looking at you as you are suddenly voraciously hungry, and you want to eat everyone at this table. And if you could just open your mouth wide enough, you could swallow all of Bast right now. You could eat him if you really wanted to. And you suddenly hear a distant voice calling to you. Iris, what are you saying to Beryl right now?
What does he look like? Is he...
He's starting to he's been in this state for about a minute, and he's starting to look like he is maybe uncomfortably leaning too far back, like he's going to fall down soon.
Can I say too that like when he was starting to feel like just that darkness and coldness, like despite the room that we're in, like his breath was visible, like as he exhaled.
Yeah.
And when he felt like he was falling, like he did that thing like when you're asleep and you kind of jerk, and as he's feeling this like hunger, his lips are almost turning up in like a snarl.
She puts her hand up and she's like, Beryl, you haven't drank that much. What are you doing? And then she shakes him. I think she actively, physically tries to break him from this.
Beryl, you hear a distant noise. You hear what sounds like it's a familiar voice. It's but it just sounds like echoes in the back of your mind, and you feel something touch you, and you want to rip it off. You want to eat it, devour whatever it is, and suddenly you hear a more clear voice coming through, and it starts off, and you hear, hey, and it's kind of like echoing around your mind. Hey, you been in here a little while. Can I help? And when you look down, you see 2 people in front of you, actually. You see Rin standing in this kind of like open black plane of nothingness, and next to her is Garnet. And she says, hey, I'm sorry to do this. I'm not supposed to do this without permission, but I think you're trapped. And so Garnet showed me how to get you out. Do you want to go this way? And she points in a direction where you can see light.
I think Beryl kind of turns away at first and is like scanning the darkness, is looking for more beings to eat until Iris's voice, that vague familiar echo, kind of bounces around a couple more times in his head, and he looks back, and this time he recognizes Garnet and Catgirl, and and he kind of shakes it off. I think you said he looks down and sees them. Is it that they're like...
You were on top of a mound of flesh.
Okay.
Cool.
And when you turned around to look behind you, you see hundreds of other mounds of what... It's difficult to make out the specifics, but just piles of black, inky, dark bodies with the creature on top of them, much like yourself devouring them. But as you hear Iris, you look down at your hands and you see your own hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you recognize Garnet, you start to see your other hand, and you start to recognize that you are not that creature.
I kind of see it like at first he looks down at them, and he's on top of this mound, and he does that. He has that moment where he shuns it. He looks around for more things to eat, but he hears Iris's voice. He kind of looks back to them and actually sees them this time and recognizes them. And as that clarity is returning to him, he realizes he's no longer looking down at them. He's looking up at her, and he's no longer on that mound of flesh. Whether he came down or whether it shrank or disappeared or whatever, he is back to his stature, and he's looking up at her as he should be. And he recognizes his hands, and he says, "Yes, yes, lead the way. I want to be out of here."
Okay. Very abruptly, your eyes roll back, and you are able to breathe again as you kind of like shake loose of this resonance with this crystal.
Better?
Iris, I heard you. Thank you.
What in the fuck was that? And then she like pulls him back, like away from the thing to ensure that he's not gonna fucking touch it again.
Mm-hmm.
The only appropriate response, honestly.
He like kind of puts his hand on your shoulder, and he says, "Oh, don't worry, Iris. I'm not going to be touching it again. Another drink, I think. Would you mind?" And he like looks across the room to Kaida. "Kaida, do you have any? Have you finished? Do you have anything else? Would you mind sharing?" And then he turns to Bast, and he says, "I don't know what that was. It was chaos. It was cold and darkness and hunger and feasting and flesh. It's not good, Bast."
At the mention of darkness,
Mm-hmm.
Emmy kind of reaches out with her mind to her entity, as if like questioning if this is what they were talking about.
I love you guys so much. As you do that, you begin to hear that familiar kind of crackling noise that you hear at the beginning of, the connection. Which sometimes it's just
Old-time
voice.
radio.
Yeah, sometimes it's just voice. Sometimes you see little glimpses, but very rarely have you ever had the last experience you had, which you now have again, as the like, and then comes up and goes, "Hi, Amanya. Hi. What have we here?"
I'm gonna regret this, aren't I? I allow my patron to look through my eyes.
Yeah, okay. You suddenly feel very warm. Iris, everybody around this table, anybody who's looking directly at it, Emmy's skin is shimmering, like almost like a heat wave, in a desert kind of like situation, like that like mirage visual feeling you see. and her eyes become a little brighter and more yellow. And before you, as you're looking down at the gem, the blackness of it is immediately discernible to you, the darkness within it. And if you allow them to, you feel the pressure of this guide your hand and suggest on how to get it out.
I do so.
Okay. Deftly, and almost in a way that you guys have not seen Imadia kind of move. You watch her almost spin the what are they called?
Scalpel?
A scalpel around in her hand, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cuts later, this thing is lifted out of Scarlet's stomach, and you watch as it begins to come out. And Beryl, as it begins to come out, you notice that the base of it, where it was lodged in, it similarly has a very small but the forming of a root, much like the one at the top of your scepter.
I have a
And
question.
well, hang on
Doesn't-
one second, then
oh,
I
okay.
want to hear it. Emmy, as you're doing this, you begin to hear voices in your head, and this is a relatively new experience for you. I don't know how many times you may have allowed them to do this, or allowed it to do this, or allowed him to
This
do
is-
this.
Probably one of a small handful of times so far.
Okay.
Because
You
it's
begin to
still kinda
hear voices around you. It's almost like a group of people are speaking, and one of the things that you pick up on is the darkness of the gem is a focus. That's something that's being very honed in on. But then all of a sudden you hear the phrase Nightwing, and it's almost like your head whips around, but you don't physically move your body, but you can feel the word Nightwing coming from Pick. Like you could feel it as if it were like something that she just whispered out loud. And you hear them all suddenly going, Nightwing, 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 Nightwing. And then you lift the gem out of Scarlet's chest, and they leave your body in your presence.
Dick Grayson is
at
here?
that moment,
Ooh.
I look at Raz and I go,
Uh-huh.
"Can you detain her for a moment?"
Wait, who are you asking about?
You. I'm asking you to detain the harpy.
Okay, before I do this though, because he will happily with glee, no hesitation do this. But what I was gonna ask earlier is, because of what Raz is, would
Mhm.
he have been aware of what was going on with Emmy? Would it have been familiar to him?
No.
Okay.
Familiar? No, absolutely not.
Okay. But yeah, he'll not looking away from the harpy at all. Just his little smirk will turn into a big smile, and he'll just try to immediately wrap his arms around her and basically bear hug her, so that way her wings can't go. And he'll just, and then if he succeeds, which I don't, you'll let me know how.
I think we're gonna roll that. I think we're at
Yeah.
time at this point, so we'll roll that next time at the beginning is where
Okay.
we'll pick that up.
But yeah, if he does that, then it would be the first time he's ever smiled at Emmy. He would bear hug her and immediately look at Emmy and just smile like, I got it.
Okay.
That'll be a fun spot to pick up next week or
Yeah.
next time.
Yeah.
Not next week. You guys make me wait too long.
Bast looks at you guys as all this kind of chaos breaks out, as this gem lifts out of your chest, and he looks at you, Emmy, and says, "What was that?" And as he says that, he's like, "And what the fuck are you doing?" As he sees Raziel try to grab Pick.
He doesn't need
And
a reason.
This just kind of chaos unfolds. But yeah, that is where we will pick up next time on Punch and Roll for Initiative. Thank you all so much for coming today.
Ooh.
Yay.
Yay.
Doo-doo-doo. I don't know if you have like an after scene you want to run, Zach, or anything, but we can always hang out for a minute.
Yeah, I've got a wrap up scene. They should still be able to hear us.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
Woo.
You guys made a lot of fun choices. It's the nice thing about playing with character focused voice actors too, is like there's a lot of like, we haven't moved more than maybe like 5 minutes in actual game time. It's been like, yeah, a lot of stuff has happened.
Hey,
So,
we're consistent,
cool.
all right?
That's true.
And that's a good thing. It's what moves the plot.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's fun.
You
Oh
you said
dear.
the surgery was supposed to take them like 30 minutes. Is that what you said?
It took about it would have taken about an hour, but because of what Emmy did, it was actually much faster. So it was only about 20-30 minutes.
Well, the only
Um,
reason you talk about funny like visuals, they're all dealing with this like surgery on a bar table, and the whole time Raz and this harpy are just staring each other down, not acknowledging
That's
anything else.
Just
And I
having
was
Yeah,
just
I'm
20
kind of-
minutes of
silent.
hard eye contact is
Yeah.
I'm
wild.
It's the
That's
most
what I'm
fuckable scenario ever. I imagine Pick is like slowly like getting drinks from Guzman, and like every few minutes she's like
How
shot.
funny would it be if
Oh,
they
they're
both
just
are
shot.
and they just refuse
contest?
to not look away?
They like won't break eye contact as they
Yeah.
just get another
Yeah.
drink and sip it and glare.
It's like they're having like a drinking contest. They just have to beat each other at
Yeah.
everything. They're staring contests and drinking contests.
I think
I
they
kind
should
of
both
imagine that's what
piss
was going on.
drunk by
Yeah,
the next
so
thing.
funny.
That'll be perfect. I will do like disadvantage on your check and on her ability to resist it because you're both like trashed by the time it
Because of
happens.
after game discussion. Oh, it's funny.
I like how immediately in one action, Raz is like, you know what? Emmy's not that bad.
You just gave him an excuse to do what he's wanted to do the whole time and fight this harpy. It's like, all right.
Detain her.
Might.
You got it.
Yeah.
Ah,
Don't
Which,
Which
care
of course
why.
is going to lead to everyone going, what the fuck are you guys doing?
So kind
And
of
I
Emmy
love
just
that he
got-
has no idea why.
kind of,
Emmy just all of a sudden to everybody got a whole heap of like, oh fuck, what the fuck is going on? Mysteries.
Mysteries.
I like that. I like that. I do like though that Beryl's whole focus. Beryl is like, I'm gonna eat the world, and Iris is like, no, darling, think about your waistline.
Ironically, Kaida
already
ate the
tamed your
least
cat
out of
twice.
Uh,
this whole group.
I kind of felt bad because I was like, I want to give Marie more stuff to be involved with here, but this is a very like not a Kaida kind of scene at the
You know
moment,
what,
and
though?
so I
I
get
was
it.
fine with
though.
that.
I like that though, that Kaida is like the chill of the group.
Yeah.
Like,
Y'all go cut into somebody. I'm gonna just sit here and eat my roll.
She's like, I'm enjoying the show.
most
I got
relatable.
food.
It's
I'm
just
good.
Who drew this? Who drew this Guzman's
Oh,
house
you're
special?
just now catching up. That's so funny.
I want all of these so bad. That
I'm gonna
mushroom with the little
frame
ass
this.
cheeks, I need it on a
Dripping out
cup.
of the head.
Look like he's jizzing into it.
I think that's the point.
Is that where that comes out? For him?
Oh my god, I'm saving this. This is the best. I'm gonna frame this in my office.
the question is, if
That's
he's
special.
pouring while he burps fire, is there every possibility we could use him as a flamethrower?
I mean, probably.
We just carry him with us and hold him at like aim him at things like burp.
This is an eldritch god. I don't know what we're like. He runs this place.
Secretly, the final boss is Guzman.
That's
Hey
so
guys, I know you gave me a lot of cool
He's-
drinks, but guess what, motherfuckers? It was me the whole time.
He's the one who combined the planes.
Oh man, that's so. Funny.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, help me!
I'm
Jesus.
really enjoying the fact that I'm not going to be playing Anxious Emmy next week. It is very much the turnaround of, oh, I know what I'm doing, and Raz and I are going to burn everything with righteous fire.
Yeah, it
Kill
was
it
so
with fire,
funny
please.
because as me, which ironically happened to be exactly like Raz, I had no idea why you told me to do that, and I was like, yeah, all right,
Huh? What?
I was like, let's go.
So
Bet.
what I foresee happening later on in the campaign is Emmy becomes the head of a cult of light and fire and righteousness, and Raz is like, "Hell's yeah, I'm on board. Let's go."
Let's burn it down. Oh,
We
man.
start a cult.
Oh,
We're a
shit.
cult.
I can definitely make things like light up. So
Oh my god.
Raz just needs
Ridiculous.
an excuse.
that was it. That was literally it. I had my hand on the sword the whole time. I was just like, please, somebody start a fight so I can just
Getting
sprint right
trashed,
up.
and you're just waiting for a fight.
I'm totally waiting for only to fight the harpy. I don't care about anybody else in this room.
Was
Just
any
her.
of this considered a short rest? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, you can count it as a short rest for sure. I was gonna let you guys have. Again, as always, foolishly, I
Yes.
thought you would be doing more things or like being like, "Fuck it, I'm sleepy," and like go take a nap or something. But yeah, I mean, y'all just we dove right into it, and it got pretty wild pretty fast. So yeah,
Well, that's part of the reason I
we'll do a
didn't
short
dive
rest.
straight into using daylight because I'm like, I haven't had a long rest yet. I don't get that yet.
And
I'm like, that would
yeah,
also be
same thing for
bad.
Barrel.
Yeah, we're gonna. And also, I needed the right opportunity because obviously I didn't know what was going on in Barrel's head. So
Yeah.
yeah, but the minute the word Nightwing came out of Pick's mouth, I'm like, now I need to know what you know.
Well, and to be abundantly clear, you heard it as if it were whispered out of her mouth. You did
Yes.
not hear it physically.
Yes. So that's why
Uh,
questions are needed.
Boom, boom.
Do I
Lots
think
of
she's
fun
going to
things
be very
happening.
confused? 100%.
Yeah. I am I'm looking forward to it. Hell, I'm always curious like what people were talking about during the stream because I'm not watching it whenever it happens. Do we miss anything great? Because I missed a bunch of good jokes for sure.
Oh,
Guzman's
for
special
sure. We
sauce.
were. I know my audio quality isn't as good as everybody else's. Sorry. But there was a lot
You
of
sound
talks
beautiful.
about loving. Oh, thank you. A lot of talks about loving the uwu. People loved Guzman. People loved Guzman, the
Oh yeah,
Boozman.
no.
Awesome.
Everybody was talking about how the what do you call it? The tension between Skip and Raz at the end there.
Yeah. I love that. I also think it's worth like Zach, I think you would know this from the type of spell that what's her name? Rin used to like access your mind is something that typically you can only do whenever someone is asleep. So she was like invading your dreams effectively.
Fascinating.
But I think you're familiar enough with that to know what happened there. That it was like, oh, I know this. This is a spell I've heard of.
When you said that Beryl was bent backwards,
Uh-huh.
all I could think was, he's old, man. He's gonna feel this in the morning. Has he been doing his calisthenics?
Iris has been trying to get him to go to water aerobics. He's not signed up for it.
He'd sink like a stone, wouldn't he?
There's floaties. We can get him
Floaties.
okay.
I'm not particularly buoyant, okay?
Go to shallow end. I know that's pretty high for you, but it's fine.
Oh god, I just got what is this? Oh my god. Stacy has apparently been watching the stream and just sent me a clip of myself going uwu.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got to say though, Marie, I love Kaida's vibe. Like,
Oh, I mean,
so
yeah,
good.
yeah.
so chill, so necessary to have someone like that in the group too.
Yeah.
Y'all are so fucking nice.
I don't mean to be like I joke about this a lot, but Marie being the first time, this is your first time ever to play D&D, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like naturally skilled at like the improv part of it and like doing the things that you've done to play the game too, like in combat, you're doing everything that I when I first started playing D&D, I was off the rails. Like you've been it's like you're just so good at like inserting in the perfect moment, saying stuff exactly as your character would say it, knowing who she is innately. It's just I'm always impressed whenever you jump in and say things. It's crazy.
Well, Hell's theory that Kaida is half me is correct, so it makes it a little easier, honestly.
Well, it's very good. I'm always impressed, and I think it's so much fun to play with you guys too because like I'm so used to playing in groups that like are a little more shy. A lot of people who play D&D are a little more kind of like introverted or maybe not with as much experience, and so it's fun to like play and have that wild what the fuck are we doing? Why is everybody yelling right now? Things. It's great.
I know some people who are not able to like visually just create what's being told to them in their mind. and I would hate that, but I would love to see how that person plays D&D.
People who can't visualize things.
Right. Who are like
Yeah.
when you explain stuff and they can't see it. I'm like, oh, that'd be so fun to see how they try to figure it out.
Yeah. I try to create a ton of maps whenever I run like private games for people who do struggle with like scene stuff. But at the same time, like I always worry that like too much visual takes away from the opportunity for people to kind of create their own visuals. Like in my mind, even giving Bast like a face wasn't something I ideally wanted to do. I just wanted to have person on the map so you guys can kind of look at them.
Mm-hmm.
But each person visualizing that entire scenario different is what I love about D&D, is that we're all kind of like picturing, I don't know if you ever watched like there was a cartoon that used to do this a lot where like swap animation styles throughout the whole thing. And it would be like different animation styles the whole time. I love that thought of like we're all just looking at it just a little bit differently, and it probably colors it in such a fun way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One thing I ended up having to do once, for like the world map, because it was pretty green and blue, was one of my players eventually came to me after like 12 sessions, and he's like, I have no idea what the world looks like because I have red-green color blindness. So I ended up working with him to make a purple. Like I said, well, what color do you actually see the best? And he goes, oh, it's kind of purple and stuff. So I completely purple shaded the entire map so he could see after like 3 months, finally, the world we were playing in.
Oh,
It was,
man.
I'm
That's
like, you should let me
crazy.
know, man. I would have done something about it sooner. So, yeah, it was wild to me that he had been playing in this world this whole time. And he's like, yeah, I just vibing. I guess I know where I am vaguely. So, yeah, it was great.
I love that. It's so good. Oh my god, trying to upload this on my phone is insane because it says it's gonna take 3 hours to upload my audio.
The joy that
It
it's
can probably wait
an
until
hour
you
longer
have-
than we played.
Yeah.
It can probably
Yeah.
wait until you have real internet again.
No, I need.
Well, I'm
it
not gonna have it
to
till
be
Monday.
I really liked the role play parts we did have of this, where we actually got to see the group interpersonal kind of interactions, like the little moments, like we get to see obviously Beryl and Iris, but like the potential burgeoning friendships between Kaida and Emmy, and then also like Raz going, what is kindness? What are you doing? Don't touch me, you little weirdo. But at the same time, fine. Like he feels like the sulky teenage brother who's like, I really like my little sisters, but I don't want to show them that I'm affectionate. So like I like the vibe we've got going.
Yeah.
That's great. We couldn't have asked for a better like party makeup because it's so funny and perfect.
All we were missing today was Dad.
I know we need. Although I will say the like quick
Because
adherence
Grandma and
to.
Grandpa in charge is wild.
They're like boomer grandparents who are just giving everybody a bunch of sugar for no fucking reason because Aaron's not here.
We'll just send them back
Because
home. It's
flaming
fine.
shots will make this whole situation better.
Flaming shots. I'm gonna just touch this gem that's in this girl's stomach. Why not? That'll be fun. Like the fucking dad is not here to stop everybody. Oh shit! The funny thing, the thing I love about Aaron too is like he and Emmy are so Redvald and Emmy are so like quick to adhere to authority, and everybody else is not as much. Raziel a little bit in his own way. But I think that's just so funny in the sense of like that kind of dad mom vibes that both of you like Kaida giving off the older sister vibe and Aaron giving off the dad vibe and Emmy like just trying to make things work. It's so good. It's like a family already.
Little found family.
We have to share this fan art you guys made to something.
It's
'cause, oh my god.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's funny.
Mushroom
The fact
butts.
that the mushroom has a butt is so good.
I love it so much.
But
I
can
was
we?
We need to,
inspired.
I can totally see that we render them and put it on t-shirts, because that will never
my
end up
God.
having people coming up to you questioning, going, I have no idea what I'm looking at. What am I looking at?
Okay, but
I-
like mushroom butts is obviously inspired by Cleo's. Cleo's
I
Yeah.
need a
was.
gif of a twerking mushroom now that's had a BBL.
Yeah, I was drawing it and I was like, no, I have to put the ass. The ass has to be here.
It has to be.
They're big
I feel
ass
like they're not
mushrooms.
slim thick enough. They need the
I
curved
know.
waist.
It needs I need to redraw it so there's just the proportions are
My-
crazy.
My God, does that just mean that a mushroom cave is just a mushroom strip club?
Did anybody see the little slit on the top of one of
Oh
the
my
mushrooms?
God!
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Yes, I did.
Oh my god! On the veiny
Oh
one?
my
No,
No,
it was
oh,
on the
well,
other one.
beside it.
No, it
The
wasn't
veiny
on
one
these
did not
two.
have
Oh.
the slit.
Yeah.
No, the veiny one has it
The
too.
gift that
Yeah.
Did it?
this
Yeah, it did
picture
on
is
these
the
two.
gift that
Very
keeps
subtle.
on giving.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
I'm
Oh,
glad you
goodness.
enjoyed
It's just-
it. I definitely did.
You should have made Raz stick his tongue out in the photo. That would have been even better.
Oh no! No.
I think
I
I
made
need
you
to
to make-
redesign so the asses are as big as their caps. Like
Yeah.
At the very least, I made sure that some of the ooze got in his eye.
Oh, thanks.
I mean,
That's gonna sting.
Not the
So-
hair, his glossy hair.
good for it, right?
oh my
It's
god!
like
I'm
conditioner,
gonna
too.
seriously.
Yeah.
Is your hair like a little bit burned
Chicken
back
protein.
because of the acid that splashed on it?
I don't
Do you
know.
have
You
like
didn't
a-
tell me if it hit
Do you have
my
like a
hair.
cool wavy? I mean, it's up to you if you want to do that, buddy. Do you have like a cool wavy hair look right now because your hair got burned back a little bit?
That would
Always
be
got like
funny.
beachy
I-
curls.
The minute you
I-
said
I
that,
used
all I
to
could
got
think of
beachy
is
curls.
all I could
Oh,
think was,
God.
did you give Raz a mullet?
I was actually
That's what
thinking
the
of like.
reference pictures had.
No, he doesn't have a mullet. None of his
Does
pictures
he have a mullet?
have a mullet.
The definition of mullet now, like it's strayed from
the reference
the
photos.
80s mullet, you know.
Yeah, I've got a lot of reference photos for Raz.
I'm going back to see if you gave that man a mullet.
I did not give him a
It's
mullet.
like, would you classify what I've drawn for my profile picture a mullet? Because if then, yes, but again, the
I mean, I
semantics
get
No,
what
we're
you're
just-
saying.
mullet.
No,
We're
like, you
talking
can-
like
It is
close
layers
party in
of
the
close cut
front.
on
and stuff,
top.
Yeah.
Close cut on top and then real long. in
All
the
right, yeah,
back.
that's a hardcore,
Yeah.
Hardcore mullet.
hardcore mullet.
I mean, the bottom right one that he gave you does have like kind of it's shorter hair in the front there. That is pretty party in the back. I'm just saying.
He's got
Um,
his icon now though has glorious Fabio-esque hair.
Right?
Yeah, it does. I was kind of picturing.
Oh, you're talking about the 6 that I dropped. The one on
You've
the
got, like-
right. The problem was
You got
that
battle
every time-
eyebrows too.
Every time I try to take that picture, my computer's like HDR would just go crazy and oversaturate, and I'm like, dude, what is it doing? It's just a sweet back look in that picture. But yeah,
He's
no,
got
it was
such strong eyebrow game. I'm so jealous.
funny.
I want cool eyebrows. Oh man.
Draw 'em on.
Yeah.
Take it.
I'm looking back to this chat and now I see things about mullets back in February.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Not our kinkiest episode, but we're getting close. I feel like we're like an inch away from it.
Well,
I don't think it'll take us long, to be honest. I feel like as we get more comfortable, it's coming out earlier and earlier, I think.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Are we early at the tip?
Oh,
Oh man.
yeah. Sarah, if it makes you feel better, I think of the harpy, or I think of you when I'm thinking of the harpy, so that way I have real
so you can
source
kill it.
of
you should-
anger to like
Uh-huh.
draw from.
Okay. Well, you know what? You and Ethan can get your wish. Just cast me as the harpy. Just kill me quick. There you go. That's how you kill me.
that'd be
Imagine
so
you
funny.
angry roadie.
I don't want. There's so many
just
things I
can't
want to
imagine
spoil
it.
that I
You're
can't.
so polite and lovely.
No, just listen to him talk to me, Tegan. Just listen.
No, to the point. I've got one of my friends because Rhodey, we've had like a lot of business together lately.
Yeah.
I've been like every conversation we have, I'm like, oh, and I talked to Rhodey about this. And the other day they turned around to me and goes, "You do realize like all of our conversations are about Rhodey at the moment." And I'm like, look, he's a good guy, but I just do a lot of work with him right now.
Oh, that's so
Depends on who
He's
you
like,
ask.
oh, well, why don't you go tell Rhodey about this? I'm like, for fuck's sake.
Tegan's the only one in this group that really thinks I'm a nice guy anyway, so I appreciate it. I'm gonna take it in.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
You hear that, Sari? He's gonna take it.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is that I was gonna be nice to you today, Rhodey, and then you started out being mean to me. So
I don't believe that for a minute. That's
We're
you
still on
acting like you
stream,
were gonna
eh?
be a better
We are.
person.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're still,
Yeah.
we want to talk shit and we can't because we're live.
Oh, I don't care. I'll talk
Yeah.
about
See,
Sarah all the time.
my experience is that everyone is lovely, but I keep getting told by a mutual friend that apparently hell gets real spicy.
Hell, we
What?
kicked my ass for sure.
She's like playing innocent now. I don't know what you mean.
Me?
What?
Me?
Wait, what kind
Wow.
of kind of spicy?
Which fucking friend
Yes.
said this?
What kind of-
Who am I taking on
Spicy
this?
attitude, like
I'm gonna find them. I'm gonna steal their knees.
the wonderful Daniela, she's like, yeah, no, hell's man. Like
Poor
when hell gets
Christine.
angry, she gets spicy.
Don't mess up servers.
Well, you've
got
got a taste of that in the chat. It's all fine.
Which I'm inclined to believe her because I've played Lethal Company with you before.
I'm not at my best when we play that game.
I disagree.
I was gonna say
Please.
she's at her most genuine, I feel like.
Sometimes I listen to our recordings, Rhodey, and it makes me laugh. And it's
Good.
just of us. It's just of us dying. It's just of us
Yeah.
dying from various monsters. But it's how we bonded.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. The
We need
way
to
of
do like a
like
community night with that sometime.
her freakouts
Yeah.
are the best. The
Used
worst
to
part
be the
about
best.
Hell, yeah, I was gonna say the worst part about Hell playing Lethal Company was that she got good at it, so she got less scared, and so the joy of just waiting for like the "see, I'm out," like it's not there as much anymore, and so it was like it's like the bittersweet of like she's good at it now, but I miss
No.
the times when she was scared all the time.
No,
We can find
I know-
mods.
I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it. I just know when to dip out.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
That's
ditch
what-
everybody.
I still have not learned.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, I could probably last a little longer.
Y'all have not seen me encounter the ghost
Nobody's
girl.
gonna
I am
touch
not
that
chill.
one. Okay.
I'm
I was
containing
gonna make an
myself.
edging joke earlier, but I decided not to.
Touch what?
If we do want it to
Not
last
our
longer, we should.
spiciest episode.
Nope.
It is going to be hard to beat all the spewing from the last one.
That one
Oh,
was
God.
rowdy.
Jake Bukake.
That one was
Goodbye.
rowdy. I didn't mean. I also realized that I say a lot of horny sounding things without meaning to, and so I'm sitting over here like, and then it sprays all over your face, and I'm like,
Yeah. You did say that Beryl
There was
felt like
some-
he
Setting
could
us
take
up.
he
It's
could
great.
like take all of Bast in his mouth in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. I need to fix that one.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I said that.
Why does it come so naturally to me?
There was something I said last episode that I was like, oh man, it was just. I wish I could remember what it was, but it was something about the mushrooms and like the way they were handled or something. And I was like, oh fuck, I wish I hadn't said that out loud. But I didn't even catch that I said taking all of Bast in your mouth.
It's paraphrasing. but it's
gotta-
close.
Gotta
You
go a
could put the
couple more.
wholeness.
Gotta go a couple more episodes, and then I'll put together a compilation of all the super slush shit Ethan says, just not meaning.
Perfect.
Oh shit! Fuck me. I'm sorry.
Not a single
Fuck.
person is complaining about anything.
Yeah.
No.
Don't apologize.
I mean, they should be. The funny thing is that even in like, this isn't like something I put on. This is like, even in the private games I run, I get told multiple times, like, you can't sound like that and say things that you say sometimes. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Because I'll be like, and deep in your dreams, like, you're taking it. And they're like, you can't say, you're taking it in your dreams. Well, or whatever, you know. Fucking shit.
So say everything is Guzman from now on.
I was
You won't
about
have
to
that
say,
wrong,
there
Guzman.
you go.
Hey guys, it's me, Guzman. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
You could take it real deep if you really wanted to. It's not that hard.
It's not that hard. Oh my god.
Guzman is my favorite.
Can you narrate your next book? Can you?
Please.
Yeah, sure. I
Oh, that
mean,
would be
somebody
so
write me a slime-based book, and I'll just be like,
Hi, it's me, the king of slimes, and I have a question. How do you ever like, I don't know, have dreams that aren't fulfilled? Because I sure do.
I think Stacy S is the Kermit or Bobcat Goldthwait. And I was like, it's this weird combo.
It's a combination, yeah. It's a weird combination of the lot of them, sadly.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
god.
funny.
I got to see him in person, or like live once, and
You are fading.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
I'm still awake. It's kind of
Oh,
a miracle,
God.
honestly.
I know.
Yeah,
Actually,
it's
I'm
a
impressed you're
little-
still here.
Oh, you
Love it.
poor thing.
I keep being like, I'm gonna say night, and then we're talking, and I'm just enjoying it, so I'm just sitting in my chair having a sleep instead.
Can't leave yet.
Oh, they're being funny.
Why don't we at least say goodbye to the stream and we
Yeah.
Yeah.
let those who want to go to bed
Bye,
go to bed.
stream.
The stream is
Nice.
still
Don't
on.
have to
It
do
is.
work. All right, so say bye now.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 If you're not already,
Bye,
join us in-
buddy.
if you're not already in there, join us in the Discord so you can see some mushroom butts.
Mushroom butts. Mushroom butts.